I know some people say like, oh, it's not a job. Nah, screw you. This is a job.
Yeah, it is.
You gotta stop saying bands are overrated in the scene. Like even Lauren Shore, like, is that people don't really listen to what you say. They listen to how you say it.
And if you're doing it to the best of your ability and being your most authentic self while doing it, it's gonna work out for you eventually. But maybe you have to put some sweat, blood, tears into it first, and then maybe your day comes 5 years, 6 years, 10 years into your channel. Did you have like a little bit of anxiety before sharing like the news or anything?
Well, that's why it took me so long. It took me so long to open up about it because I didn't want to talk about it. But I just know the METALBIRB videos were holding me down, so I eventually just opened up the Discord. Holy fuck. You were the first person to comment on it, and just the support was like insane. I thought people would unfollow. I haven't felt this good in a long time, to be honest. There's like but I feel like there's like a fire inside me to just get it. This was a great episode. I had so much fun talking to you, getting to know you a bit better. I'm excited for you this year.
I think you're gonna crush it. And thank you so much for having me. I had a blast on this.
Welcome to episode 7 of the METALBIRB podcast, and I'm very excited to have a friend, a fellow content creator in the music reactor space, and someone that my fellow listeners I feel like will appreciate because their audience kind of overlaps. I think after this podcast, man, my spelling is so poor on this. So after this podcast, I think you guys will actually understand why our audience does overlap, because we have a lot to talk about on today's episode. I'm so stoked to talk about you. We've collabed before, but this is the first time where we're going to have like a proper conversation out there. But Rachel from Rachelle Reacts, how are you?
I am doing well. I'm super excited about this. Like you said, we have a lot of overlap, and always whenever we chat, it's a good time. So I'm very excited to be here. There's so much going on in our world, so naturally we have endless things to talk about.
I know, like I actually don't know where to start with, because like I feel like a lot of the thing that's going on with like the music reactor space is Sleep Token. Maybe just start there, because like man, those songs are literally like an obsession to me. I cannot stop listening to them. I'm watching other people's reactions. I can't remember last time I did something like this. I think it was like Aviation's Outliers. Like, is it the same case with you?
Yeah. I found myself this morning, like I don't often, like I'll watch your videos, I'll watch Keem's videos, I watch some of Bogdan's videos, but you probably know, like doing so much of this, like it's very it can be grating almost to like revolve your entire world around it. So most of the time I don't watch a ton of like reactions and stuff for channels I don't know, but for this one I did. I found myself this morning watching, like, you know, commenting on just whoever's like, great review, this was awesome. Like I saw some people doing real reviews and stuff, and I've been the same. Like the Summoning was the track for me. Like, I mean, it still is, but but Chokehold has been growing and growing on me even more. They're both just like killer, and this album, oh god.
That's so weird, because like Chokehold for me was like my immediate love. I'm like, oh god, this is like Sleep Token perfection right here. And then the Summoning, I'm like, this is wild. Like I think I like Chokehold just a little bit more because of the hook, but I realized over time I can't stop listening to the Summoning. And now I think that song, I like it more, but I would both say that both of those songs are just 10s. There literally is nothing wrong with those songs. And for me to say that, because like I feel so like worried to give out a 10 so easily. Like a 10 is like the Mona Lisa. Like you can't just give 10s away, but like those songs are literally like perfection. Like sure, there's some people that don't really like them still, but I think that's just kind of preference. But like I feel like from songwriting preference, like those songs are just literal perfection. But yeah.
Sorry.
No. I just wanted to ask you, because like when talking about like reactors and stuff, I do the same thing too, because when I don't watch a lot of reactions, only because like I'm kind of worried about picking up on some of their things. See, yeah, you too?
Yeah, absolutely. That's because you don't realize, you know, when you're with your friends and stuff, and even like sayings get passing around, you have no idea where it started. Like I could totally see that happening, except like with your channel, your style is like, I was watching your channel like before I started my channel and stuff. So with you, I don't really feel that way, because I know like you have a very strong personality, and the things that you do are like very obviously yours. So I feel like I'm able to be like, you know, if I had said something that was, I'd be like, oh my God, like a burbism or something. But I don't want to just watch a bunch of reactions and then suddenly have like cached something mentally that I saw somewhere and then, you know, be reusing. So I have the same exact anxiety. Like I like to watch my friends' videos who I know, and then sometimes for songs I really dig, but otherwise I watch a lot of history videos.
Really? You're a history buff?
Yeah, like I spend most of like my free time either playing Xbox, hanging out with friends, normal stuff like that, or watching like history video essays and stuff like that. Yeah.
Wow, a few more pieces added to the Rachel puzzle right there. Okay. Wait, you play Xbox? I didn't know that. Like, what kind of games?
So I'm newer to the gaming world. Like I just finished a game all the way through for the first time last year.
Okay,
It was
so
my
yeah.
first time ever playing because I have like my ADD is very apparent in like my watching stuff and my video games. Like I'll start a bunch of games. I've started Outriders. I've started pretty much all of the Halo games. I've started multiple Call of Duty games. Never finished any of them, but I really like story games the most. Like I'm not sure if you're familiar with Life is Strange or that series. That's the first series I've ever finished. So that was the first game I played last year where I played all the way through, and then I played the whole series, and I just loved it. I like chill games.
No, that's amazing because like I think a lot of people who don't like video games, which I feel like is kind of weird to say. I think most metalheads do like video games, but there's still people that don't. But I think like what's cool about them is like it's literally just watching a movie, but you're playing an active role in it. So like Life is Strange is really cool. You're kind of like directing where to go. Like I never really finished that game, but I'm well aware of the point and click kind of games. But there's something like I don't know. There's a good feeling about these games. It's like a nice little break. Takes you away from like, you know, the stresses of life a little bit. And it's just nice to escape a little bit, I guess. But yeah, I guess speaking of like all this like work stuff, you recently tweeted out that you got fired. Is that okay to say that?
Oh yeah, that's fine. I'm typically like an open book about most things. Sometimes maybe too much so, but yes, yeah. I was, you know, fired.
You were actually like fired? Like, did they let you go or did you do something wrong?
So they let me go. I mean, I had last year, basically like my history with this job was like really rocky, and the company got bought by another company last year, and really everything just started changing. I had been there for 4.5 years, so I had been there, yeah, for a long time, but it's just different people there now. And so last year when I had mentioned at some point, like, I don't think this is really like the right fit for me, so I want to help y'all get what you need and kind of like start looking for another job to transition to. And that was like kind of the plan that we had. And so I was going to find something else and transition over to it. And my last day was either going to be like end of January or possibly mid-February or something like that. And then they fired me on Sunday in our busiest season too. So it was like, I mean, it's like, you know, getting fired is not, I've never been fired before. So,
Oh, really?
so it was it was like that rejected feeling, like, I didn't want this job anyway, but are you serious?
Like you didn't give me a chance to quit kind of thing. I love how you're drinking a ginger ale and I'm drinking a black coffee. We're such like seniors over here.
We are. See, I would drink black coffee like nobody's business, was drinking so much caffeine, and then I completely cut caffeine out last year, the middle of last year or something, because it was messing with my stomach a lot, and it was the hardest habit to kick. Like the hardest habit to kick. It was so hard for me.
What about like tea or something? Like, would you switch over to tea?
Yeah, so tea is
Yeah.
fine for, I guess, like I really cut out not caffeine, coffee specifically, because I was drinking like a ridiculous amount, not sleeping well. My stomach was all messed up, and like my doctor had recommended maybe trying it a while before, and I was like, no.
Screw you.
And then I just eventually got to the point where I was like, you know, I'll try it and nothing's gonna happen. It's not gonna be any better. And then I'll just drink coffee again. Well, you can guess what happened. Like I felt a lot better after like a few weeks. My sleeping schedule changed a little bit, and I was like, I'm getting old. This sucks.
Yeah, but honestly, that's so important. Like, I always try to aim for 8 hours of sleep. Like, I have my phone set to like this, like it automatically shuts off around like 11 o'clock where I don't get notifications, like sleep mode on your iPhone or something. And then like when you turn it on and like the alarm is like the most beautiful melody. It just like yeah, it's so cool. Yeah. Like I forget what it's called. I think it's just called sleep mode, but it's such a nice melody and it just wakes you up. It's a nice way of just, waking up in the morning. But like with coffee, I think people are realizing now that I'm more of a coffee person than a beer person, because my old channel, like back in the day, was like drinking craft beers, and like the part of the idea was like to showcase like some of the local breweries, and like I thought it'd been a cool idea, but I was just getting like a belly. Like I'm just like, okay, I'm just getting kind of fat, and like I also didn't want to drink so much. So then I started like I started to cut it out a little bit, and now I'm just drinking coffee all the time. But right now it's like decaf. I just love the taste of it. I just love it. It's like something comforting about it. Holy, I didn't know we were going to be talking about coffee so much. Wait,
Merch coffee?
Oh, I thought your audio cut out there for a second. Okay, can I ask you what you were doing for work? Can you disclose that?
Yeah, I was a team lead for a software company. So doing like escalated issues in software, telling them how to fix stuff, like the call takers, they would take phone calls with people who were having problems with the software, which originally that was like my first job. Hated it. I don't like customer servicing. I'm not very good at like professionalizing myself to talk to customers. Like if I get mad, like, yeah, I know, it's so shocking. If I get mad, like that very much comes across.
What?
So crazy.
Holy.
Yeah, so it didn't. I mean, I did well when I was a call taker enough, but I definitely had a few like where people were like, "This girl just got a super attitude with me," and I was like, "Yeah." But more so the last few years, it's just like guiding people, and my job got so convoluted that I was really doing a bunch of different jobs in one position, and like just a bunch of software stuff, which is fine. It's fine, but it's just sort of boring.
That's what happens. Like when you work for one of these companies, like you do one thing and then they ask you to do something else, and then also maybe you want to try showing some initiative, so you do something else, and now you're wearing like a whole bunch of hats in the company. But that's not a bad thing, because you have some leverage. Like it's going to be harder to fire you because like you have so much stuff, but you still got fired. So that
yeah, once I guess like if it had been like the same company that I started with, like the people who bought the company don't really understand the business, if that makes sense. So they don't care. There are a bunch of people leaving who have been with the company for a long time. Whereas when I started, this company had like the craziest turnover rate I ever had seen. Nobody was ever leaving. Nobody was. I think they had fired like one lady who was wasted at work or something, and like tried to fight someone. I didn't work there at this time, so this is like a secondhand story I heard about you.
Really?
But it was like, she did something that was like, you kind of have to get fired now. There's no coming back. But otherwise, people just stayed, and now it's all different people and people leaving. So it's just
that happens a lot. Did you get severance at least or anything?
A bit, yes. It's like 2 weeks or something was what they ended up like. Basically it ended up being that they're going to pay me for the time that I should have been there through the end of the month, which is helpful because now for like these few weeks I'm kind of just doing other stuff, focusing on content stuff, streaming, and have free time, which I just never have. It's always like fit these channel things in around my work schedule, which is crazy in January. And now I'm just sort of like wake up and I'm like, what do I need to do today?
Yeah. So, okay. We have a lot to talk about because like I went through the same thing. It's kind of a blessing in disguise, but like, so with my old company, I was working digital marketing for like a reality TV star here. Like I love the job. It was good. It was fun. I was doing marketing for him and I like the guy. I respect the guy a lot too. But the thing was like, I don't know. I wanted to do something for myself, right? I'm like, why am I putting so much hours into other people's businesses, and why am I not doing it for myself? So big reason why I started the YouTube channel. I just wanted to be my own boss in a way, but like also it was just a hobby. It was just a hobby. I'm like, hey, if I make money from it, then cool. Didn't know the channel would like blow up. So I'm like, okay. But the thing was like, when I was doing digital marketing, like COVID happened. And so we're all working from home, and it allowed me to focus on my YouTube channel, because it'd be really weird if in my office I'm like plugging away editing videos and like people looking at me or something. So I had some free time. Like I can get my shit done really fast. So there's me just finishing 2 hours of work for this job and then spending a lot more time on YouTube. And then eventually it got to a point where YouTube was paying me more than my actual job. I'm like, and then there was a good period where like I was like making some good money, the most money I've ever made in my life, 2 full incomes. And then what they wanted me back into the office. As soon as they said that, I'm like, oh, this is going to hurt my YouTube channel. I don't know about that. So I eventually just kind of pulled the plug. I'm like, sorry, like I can't. I'm going to do YouTube. A lot of people didn't even know I was doing YouTube, which is the funny thing. Like I came up to people coming up to me just like, so wait, how are you making money? Like, yeah, well, it's like a lot of the community. It's like Patreon. Like, what's Patreon? But yeah, anyway, the point is like pulling the plug and then figuring out like the schedule and what to do in a day. Like you just said, you wake up like, okay, what do I do? Like you have to like it's another step to figure out the schedule and like what you should do and like you have more free time. But eventually you're going to realize like it's a lot of work. This is the hardest job I've ever had. And I know some people say like, oh, it's not a job. Nah, screw you. This is a job. Yeah, it is. 110%. Like it's not physical by any means, by any means, but it's very mental. It's extremely mental. So how are you feeling with like, just like, I noticed that you just came back from a live stream too, right?
Yeah. It was my first last year. So 2021, I did a ton of request live streams, like I was doing 2 a week, every week and working on top of that. And so eventually that got to be, I think it just got, because I was working my YouTube channel like a full-time job and then working my full-time job plus like 20 hours of overtime per week in 2021. And it just got to me. And so it was like 2022, I fumbled a lot. Like I had overcommitted myself, I think, a lot, because you know how it is probably, like you get these ideas and you have all this stuff you want to do, but then suddenly like with work and everything, like the energy is just not there. And then it's frustrating because you're like, but I have these ideas and if I felt good, like I could do them, but I just don't. And so a lot of 2022 was me like not live streaming. I did one or two request live streams the entire year. So this year I got one done today. I just started like a Patreon because I wanted to. I had it in the drafts, you know what I mean? I had my tiers set up, but I was like, it was the same thing. I was like, I have all these ideas and I have no time for them. So if I had rolled it out at any other point, I would have probably just like, died from stress or like, ran myself into the ground. And where this, though it was stressful when it happened, I was like, fired. Oh God. Like I failed, but I it's not like that. And it sort of pushed me to be like, well, I have time right now. So I guess I'm going to see if I can, do what I want to do, figure other stuff out too, because there's so many different things that you can do other than like when you have the time, like YouTube, but also if you have hobbies outside that can, you know what I mean? Like a regular job is just not as much like a necessity as it used to be. If you can, like doing live content like photography for shows or writing about live shows, stuff like that is even in the same realm,
It's freedom. That's what it is. It
feels like relief.
it really does. So that's what I meant by a blessing in disguise. It truly is a blessing in disguise. But like if you have the goal and you want to actually like get better and stuff, then like this is a very rewarding kind of gig. Like the live streaming though, it's funny that you talk about the live streaming and just like doing all that and then plus like working a full-time job with overtime. Like I mentioned it to my like Discord of my community that live streaming is not easy. I think it's the hardest thing I do out of all the things I do. It requires like a lot of energy, and don't get me wrong, I have a good time when I'm live streaming. When I'm in the moment, I'm good, but like it's that mental frame of mind to be like, okay, I got a live stream, and you also got to like, I try to do them every Sunday at 5 p.m. and like sometimes I'm not perfect on that schedule and people are waiting for me. Like I have to be home, and then it's like later in the night too. I get a little bit tired, but I don't know, like it is like rewarding to do it, but those are definitely the hardest things to do. Man, okay, so you started Patreon. What are you going to be doing with your Patreon?
So my favorite part of it, so like for the bigger tier or like, the highest tier that I have right now, I've been making them mixtapes. So they give me like a few artists that they really have been loving, that they enjoy. I asked for like a few artists they don't really vibe with, and that are kind of like in the same realm as the rest of their music. And then I build them a playlist based off of the artists they like, with like kind of stuff that's not very well known, especially I did a soft launch first, like, so I rolled it out for real yesterday, and the day before I did for like my Discord community, I said, hey, like, this is what I'm going to be doing and stuff. So a lot of the people, I know their taste very well, and it's just like the most fun thing to me to like build, like, I love being that Spotify person in real life, like,
Yeah.
create the playlist, get the feedback, like all of that. So that I'm going to be doing, I'll do my regular live streams, but I'll also do Patreon only live streams where I'll do their requests, and we'll just, check out the music they want to check out on streams. They've got monthly recaps, so I'll do a video and like a data sort of post with links and timestamps for songs that they may have missed, my favorite songs of the year, anything that may go into end of the year categories, best song of the year, best riff, chorus, music videos, live performances, all of that. And then, I just had to kind of figured it all out. I think like 3 or 4 weeks ago, like I had wanted to do it and didn't have the time. So, I've thought so much about it that it was basically like, once given the time, it was like, boop.
Yeah, put it out
I'm
there.
gonna push that out there. And then I wasn't sure. I was like, no people may sign up, and that's okay. Like, I don't really know what to expect. It's just like when I started my YouTube channel, I was like, nobody's gonna I think you were like you commented or like something about one of my videos pretty early on, I think, and I was like, METALBIRB?
Oh, I tweeted it. It was a Silent Planet video or something. No, I forget, but I tweeted you out because, like, yeah, I can go on about how genuine your channel is, but sorry, not to interrupt.
Thank you. Oh no, yeah. I mean, it's just I interrupt all the time because I get excited. So don't at all feel bad. I don't think it's a rude thing at all. I feel like when you're excited and having a conversation, sometimes it's just like, oh wait, actually, doing that. But even that, like when I started my channel, I was like, my friend that wanted me to start it, I was like, this is so dumb. Like, why would I start a YouTube channel? I'm like the weirdest person, and I couldn't, like, in my early videos, I used to cut a lot because I would be like, and I would get scared because I was on camera and stuff like that. And I was like, this is a disaster, bro. Like, I just can't even believe I'm putting this stuff on the internet. And then people were just so nice to me, and like, I just started getting more comfortable doing it and stuff. So I guess that's what I expected with Patreon. I was like, I'm gonna roll this out. Could be nobody, could be a few people, and it had a way better response than like I ever imagined it. And so I had a lot of fun kind of just like going in, putting stuff together. And I think I'll add more to the existing tiers even, honestly, just because it's fun. I genuinely enjoy this stuff. I don't want to overload. I'm sure you know how that is when you're like, I'm having fun, I'm gonna add some stuff to my plate, and then like a month later you're like, fuck, this plate's heavy.
Yes.
I don't want to do that, but right now I feel good, whereas the last few years everything has felt super slow-mo and impossible to do. Like me, oh man, have you ever like set up an interview with somebody and then totally just drop the ball on your end?
Not really. There's times where like I had like a brain fart in mid conversation for sure, but that's why like I try to get prepared with questions. But like, man, I'm even having a brain fart right now. See? It happens. You were talking about how you have ADD. I think I'm realizing now, 32 years old, I think I have ADD.
Well, also I think COVID like made things worse for people, like those that had ADD then going into work from home and COVID, I think it's more obvious now.
Yeah, no, I definitely can see that too. But okay, you were talking about like, doing more, but like what I'm realizing too is just like, just kind of fucking do it. Just do it. Like the interviews, like the podcasts, I had ideas to do a podcast for a long time. Like I went to see the Era show like back in July or something. I was talking to JT, hey, you want to be in a podcast? I'm going to do it eventually. But he's like, yeah, I'm down. But I never did it. It just took me so long because I didn't know how to set it up. I didn't know how to get a camera going. And like, even right now, it took us a while to like get everything recording, but you're being patient with me while trying to figure out audio settings, but just do it. Just go do it. And I think that's the best way to overcome these things. And like, even people comment saying like, oh, I can never be a YouTuber, because I obviously you talk to other people in your community, and some of these people know their music really well too. Some people are like, they know their shit. And like, I'm like, why don't you start a YouTube channel? And they're like, oh, like, I don't want to be in front of camera. I'm like, I get it. I totally get it. But like, they're like, oh, I don't have the confidence for it. I'm like, neither did I. Like,
neither did I.
Yeah. I kind of like faked it a little bit. Like if you watch my old videos, I was saying fuck a lot. It was like a nervous tick. I'm like, that's how the slogan "let's fucking do it" started, because it was just, I kept swearing and I couldn't help it. But I feel like I'm not even completely there with myself, and I'm starting to realize the people that are like the most popular influencers or whatever, it doesn't matter, just music, but like in all social media, or even look at someone like Nick Nocturnal, they're just completely themselves. It's like when you're alone and you're being really weird and no one can see it, but if you can present that in front of the camera and just don't give a fuck about what people think, more people will respect you for that. Sure, you might get the odd comment like, oh, this person's weird. Screw that person, because you're going to get way more people to appreciate you being your total self. And actually, I do want to compliment you on your Sleep Token, the summoning video. I watched it, and some of the shit that you were saying was funny. You were just letting go. I'm like, Rachel's really just like going for it in front of the camera. And I like that. I totally saw just like a new Rachel in front of the camera. So, and honestly, I'm trying to do it too. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because it's been like something. Also, thank you very much with the Sleep Token video. Honestly, that was my first video, so I took a break. I didn't record any videos from like December 13th, I think, until January 3rd or something like that. January something. The Sleep Token video was what I recorded, and I just took the time. I had taken time before, but nothing ever really changed in that time. I was just like, okay, now go back into it. But I just feel a bit different after that. And so I guess like not being in front of the camera for a while and then like getting back in front of it and kind of feeling in a different headspace. I didn't even really think anything about it. I just made that video. I didn't even remember what I said really in it. And then I posted it, and then I believe I got on, I went to record something with my friend, and then I came back and I checked my notifications, and everything was like a timestamp, and everything was people saying bitch. And at first when I read the comment, I was like, excuse me. And then I realized in the middle of the reaction, I looked dead in the camera and was like, bitch. And so everybody in the comments, for whatever like reason, they just, but I guess when you're really feeling like yourself and like feeling good and happy, like you just do your thing in front of the people, feel that, I suppose. I think before I took my break, people could probably feel the opposite, like me being not so animated and not so, I guess, like, that feeling when you're trying to make a video, but like your head is just not there. It's like somewhere else, too much stuff. I was always like that towards the end. So I think like coming back and especially starting with Sleep Token, I mean, that in itself was it's a great day when you have 2 new Sleep Token songs to listen to at once. So the hype was there and stuff, but yeah.
I totally agree though, because like when Sleep Token dropped their new songs, like it unintentionally happened that like I was live streaming for it, and like, hey, want to check out the Sleep Token song?
I was on, and I was like, I gotta go.
Yeah, you were there, but it ended up being a really cool stream because people were all reacting alongside me. So like, I'm like, okay.
I saw it in your video. Yeah, by the way, I love that you kept like in your editing, you put some of the chat in there too with your Sleep Token reactions. Because I don't know, it's just like that involvement of your community, I feel like is not something all reactors would do, to take the time to show their chat. I like that.
Thank you. So I got an idea. Maybe I'll reveal it now, because maybe saying it out loud publicly, it's going to be like, oh, that's a METALBIRB thing. But okay, I'm gonna change up my reactions. The way that I'm doing it now, well, I'm not going to do it like this all the time, but for Sleep Token, I want to get live stream, and I want to live stream every song and get a big audience. And that way, when I'm reacting, I'm changing the editing that I do to my videos now, instead of it just being like a static image, which is totally fine. I just feel like I've done 1,200 videos where it's like kind of the same. I got to change things up. So now, instead of like, some people try to be like really funny or something on camera, I'm just going to just listen to the fucking music. Whatever comes out of my mouth just comes out, right? But I'm going to edit the video in a way that where I'm like, whatever I'm looking at or something, or if I'm hearing, I'll put like the video in the main frame. If I'm listening to the song, or if I'm looking at the chat, I'll put that in the frame. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to make
that's genius.
So I'm going to make it feel like more like a listening experience, because I know people don't like reaction videos. So like I'm like, maybe if I can edit in a way to capture the way that I was feeling and listening to the song by doing these edits, might make you. It took me like an hour longer to edit those Sleep Token videos than my regular reaction videos. Like I'm putting like, okay, my goal is thank you. So anyway, I'm going to put that out publicly before like I see a bunch of other people doing it, because that's kind of what happens.
You know, people will do it.
Yeah, that's what happens in the reaction scene, right? Like people like one person does something and the other person does something. And it's very hard to be very original in this, because it's quite an easy format to do. It's not like we're singing or playing guitar where everyone has a unique skill. We're all just listening to music together. So I don't know, but there is the mannerisms, right? The mannerisms is what makes people a little bit different. I go like, woo, and I laugh a lot and stuff like that. But one thing that I think why our audience overlaps, it's the choice in music. That's one thing. But I also think you and I, like, there's lots of genuine reactions, but I think your channel is extremely genuine. There's a very real, authentic passion for music, which I can tell other people might be like, you know, doing things for content, but you are really there for the music, the love of music. And like you'll showcase a lot of underground bands, and you know, when you showcase the underground bands, hardly anyone watches them. It sucks. Mm-hmm. It sucks. But I think it just, but also there's something from another content creator, tons of respect for doing it. It is not easy, but you are truly one of the most authentic, genuine reaction channels that are actually there for the music. And I think that's so important. That's literally why I shouted you out at the beginning, because like I watch the odd reaction channel, but if I see someone that's like real and like actually being real, like you got to like talk about it. I think that's so important, because like I think there's a lot of people that kind of fake it a little bit. And that's always something that I try to kind of talk about. And I think reaction channels have definitely gone a lot better over the years. I think when I first started 4 years ago, it was pretty bad. It was like very fake, and people weren't saying anything negative, which is fine. It's fine, but I don't know. It's
not real.
Yeah,
I also think that it means the entire world to me. But also like I just, when you're doing something, I just can't. I feel like personally, I know this comes down to like personal beliefs and stuff like that, but I feel like if you're not being yourself and you're doing something that you're trying to like build your life around, you're not gonna be happy, you know, because it's got to be hard to like get it on your YouTube channel. Imagine live streaming and having to put on like a character or something instead of just being like, it's already hard to live stream. I can't imagine if I had to keep myself. I'm not good at like masking how I feel or any of that stuff. And I guess in other aspects of life, that's not necessarily always been a good thing for me. It's caused some issues for me, some tension in certain places. But on YouTube, it's been the place where that was received so well when I didn't expect it, because I've been this way my whole life, you know, and nobody is blown away by it. They're mostly like, what did you say? And I'm like, I'm so sorry.
When people go to see you at shows, do they say like you're like exactly like how you are on camera in person?
You know, no one's ever said. I have met a lot of people, but no one's ever directly said that. They mostly just like, my interactions have all been pretty brief for the most part. Just I had met, do you find that weird? Like, do a lot of people say hi to you at shows and stuff like that and recognize you from your YouTube channel?
Yeah, a lot of people are very shy to say hi. They think I don't want to get bothered, which is like the opposite. I'm like, no, let's talk about music and stuff. But no, a lot of people do come up to me. It's really nice. Now I've like, there's certain people that I see all the time at shows, and like we know each other by like first name, and we just like we mosh together and stuff. Like it's cool. Yeah. And like that's the big reason why I started the channel too, is just like there's no one else to talk about this kind of music. I'm so opinionated about this music. I feel like I have so much to talk about, but I needed like a platform, so I kind of just did it. And yeah, like it was cool to be honest, it was like 3 years of just still talking to a camera. But it was until I did the Discord, I'm sure you can relate, then you can actually talk to people. You started like building online friends. Now you actually have real proper connections where you can talk metal music instead of just talking to a camera. But then the more popular you get, right? Then you go to these shows and then now you're meeting people. Now it's just like you're in it.
So strange to me because it really, especially I feel like being content creators who spent you know, all of COVID, like COVID is obviously still happening, but all of lockdown kind of dumping, because in that time I started my channel during lockdown. So coming out of lockdown, my channel I think was at the first show I went to, so, like somebody said hello to me and I was like, what's happening? And then I went to another show and now like it's like a joke. Every time I go to a show, my friends will be like, I'll be like, please don't say anything, because my friends will look at me and be like, YouTube famous, YouTube fan. I'm like, oh my God, no, it's like it's metalcore. Of course, if these people listen to this band that I've reacted to before and they search for reactions, mine might be one that comes up. Like it's not like these people know me on this. I'm not walking down the main streets of Denver with people being like, Rachelle Reacts of the channel with just under 20,000 subs? Is that
Not
you?
yet.
That never happens.
Not yet. It might happen.
That would be crazy for me.
It happened
shows, I'm like,
twice in one day for me where like some guy in an elevator in my building, like, well, my building's like a complex of like 4 different buildings. So we have like a grocery store. So I was using the elevator and him and his girlfriend get in the elevator and they're trying to get down, but the elevator door opens again. I'm like, oh, you guys going down? He's like, yeah, we're trying to. Wait, METALBIRB? And I'm just like, oh yeah. And then I noticed he was wearing a Laura Shore hoodie. I'm just like, oh yeah, Laura Shore. He's like, oh yeah, Laura Shore is really cool and I gotta say that. And then the elevator door just closes mid-conversation. I'm like, oh shit, that's really cool. But also this guy knows like where I live now. But then like well, whatever.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, actually, no, that happened twice. There was another day where some guy in the same elevator, he's just like, hey, are you on YouTube? And I'm just like, oh yeah. He's like, oh, I love your videos. But it's weird. It is weird when it happens. It'll happen to you. But on that
That's
same,
so cool though.
It is, but no, it is cool. It is cool because you put these videos online, you don't really expect it, right? It's not like we're in front of an audience, like it's literally online. And then I went to a town that's like an hour and a half away to visit my friend later that day. And then we went to this like Thai place, like this little tiny restaurant. Late at night, got there. He's like, hey, are you METALBIRB? I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? Twice in one day? He was so shy to talk to me. Like if people who are listening and you see us at shows, say hi. Like
Definitely.
I love talking to people about the music. Like literally when someone says like, oh, are you METALBIRB? I'm like, yeah, like, dude, who are you here for? Like which band? Like, let's talk about music. Like that's what it's so hard to find people that listen to the same music as you. And like, if you're as passionate as we are, which I assume, then let's friggin' chat, man.
Yeah, it's really neat to it happens like more frequent. And last year I got to travel to go to a few shows, so I went to a few different, I went to Ohio, Illinois, and where else did I go? Utah. And at each of those shows I met like multiple people, and obviously my channel isn't related to where I'm located, but it was still, because here the more I started going to shows and seeing people who would be like, is Rachel, is that you? And I'd be like, oh God. Yep, it's me. But like going somewhere else, I was like, I feel like, something weird just happened in Denver, and like it was just a coincidence that these people are, I don't know, someone's playing a joke on me and that's why they know who I am. And then to go like somewhere completely different across the country and have someone be like, there was like this when I went to Alpha Wolf, that was the first show I really traveled to go to. And I went to Alpha Wolf and I went in there, and this kid, it was his first concert ever, and he like asked for a picture with me and stuff, and he was so stoked, and it was just super cool. I was like, you watch my videos and it's your first, you know what, go have fun. And he was in the pit like having a great old time. Yeah, it was super cool.
Doesn't it make you feel good that you're having like a positive impact in some way? Like all we do is just like react to a song and then talk about it, but it doesn't seem like a big deal. Like, I don't know. I want to selfishly make a video because I really like the music. I just want to hear it. And I love to share my opinion. But the fact that people are like really influenced by these videos is just like, holy shit. Like I didn't expect that kind of like warm welcome. Like I'm sure that when you see people at these shows, yeah, they want to take a photo of you and stuff. People say like really nice things, like I've helped them through their separation and stuff. Obviously, with me sharing the news about METALBIRB and I, people have opened up to me too, and they're just like, your videos are helping me through my separation too. I'm just like, whoa, like, man, no worries. It's weird. It's weird, but like, I'm grateful. I just have a hard time fully grasping it, you know?
Yeah, I feel like I also I know I talked to you about this one-on-one, but on the record, I wanted to say how respectful, or like how respectable it is, that you posted that and did what you needed to do for your channel. And because sometimes being open and vulnerable like that, people can be assholes, and like and most people say nice things, and most people do, but you don't know before you post it. And did you have like a little bit of anxiety before sharing like the news or anything?
Well, that's why it took me so long. It took me so long to open up about it, because I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to see those comments. It was already mentally exhausting. So I think in 2023, I'm like, I have to make some changes. I noticed my YouTube videos were kind of like going down a little bit. I'm going on TikTok and other places. So I really want to keep doing this, right? But I just know the METALBIRB videos were holding me down. So I eventually just opened up to Discord. I'm like, I'm going to just share with the Discord peeps, because I know out of all the social media things I do, and you can agree, Discord are the closest people. Those are your true, real homies. They know you. They understand you. Exactly. So I share it with them. Holy fuck. You were the first person to comment on it. And just the support was like insane. I thought people would unfollow. I actually thought people would just like leave the Discord and just like, oh, if she's not in it, then I'm done. Like literally, that's what I'm thinking. That's literally what I'm thinking. So seeing all the support there, I'm just like, wow. And then, maybe I should share this on Instagram so more people know. And so I did, and the support was overwhelming. It was making me emotional. It was just like, it was a lot. I did not expect that. I lost like 20 followers on Instagram after that, but like, whatever. Those are just
that's you'll get it back so quick with authentic people who care about your content and stuff. Because at that point, like I had mentioned, I think it was in my Discord comment to you, but it's like I enjoyed those videos when I got into your channel. It was with videos with METALBIRB, but as time carries on and I continued watching your content, my favorite videos of yours are more recent videos, and I like the more, like, now I look forward to certain bands that I know you really like that you'll react to and stuff. And I just find it kind of strange that other people hang on to that with your content and stuff, when I mean I feel like it's fairly obvious that if y'all were going to be making videos together, you would have made videos together. And like them commenting that is not gonna be like, oh shit, you know what, let me call up METALBIRB, and this person commented on the video, I had completely forgot about METALBIRB. Like, it's obviously not something like that. I just think it's a bit insensitive of people. So I really respect what you did. And I was kind of wondering, because I see those comments and I've heard you talk about them before too, and I can't imagine how annoying that is. Because even me, like, I don't like I am very picky. Like, sometimes I get annoyed by like, you put all this work into a video, and then the comment is like, do this instead or whatever, and nothing about what you've just done. So I can't imagine you make a whole new video and people just comment about like, where's this other person, which is totally irrelevant to what you're doing. I couldn't even imagine. So I feel like I would have done the same thing that you did. Mm-hmm.
I wanted to throw in the towel so many times. Like, that's why I made the mental health video too. Like, I'm like, I had to push myself to go through it, because like, yeah, there's that insecurity. Like, no one actually watches the channel for me. They're really for her. Like, my audience is 96% male, 4% female. And that I kind of got carried away. Like, it's not like I regret those videos. Those videos were great, but like, it wasn't supposed to be a couples channel too. That was another thing. Like, when I know, it was like, hey, want to be in a video? And like, people really liked it and like, oh, bring her back. I'm like, okay. So then like, she became more videos, and the views, like, I was getting swept up by the numbers. We were climbing fast. Like, we got 30,000 subs in 1 year, and like, holy crap. And like, obviously, her in the videos was just a really good dynamic, but like, it wasn't supposed to be a couples channel. Like, and people would say like, oh, you guys are my favorite couple channel. I'm like, oh man, it wasn't supposed to be. I always said that in the back of my head. I'm like, it wasn't supposed to be, but I got carried away. I'm like, will this be forever thing? I don't know. And but she had to go leave for her job, which I'm not going to disclose her job, but that was a big reason for our initial breakup, because like she kind of changed. It is what it is. She also didn't want to be in the videos anymore. So the thing was, instead of just taking the videos down right away, which I'd never really thought of, because in a way I'm like, it's a chapter of my life. It is what it is. I'm just going to keep pushing through it. But like, I don't know. I felt like I needed to prove to people that I can do this on my own. And I just wanted to keep getting better. She was like a natural in front of the camera. That's how I felt. But people didn't realize the editing and all the things that are going behind the scenes, because the filming part is the easiest part. But like a lot of the stuff that I'm putting into the video is like, there's a lot of shit going on. And then so I just had to prove to people that like, no, I can do this on my own. I'm going to keep growing the channel. I'm going to keep trying new things. And I think that's why when you say stuff like that, you enjoy my new videos. I'm like, I agree. I can't even watch my videos with her. I'm just like, I look at myself. I'm like, I feel introverted. I'm like, looking at myself. I'm like, I'm reserved. And there's times where I reacted with her, and I'm like, and I'm very out. I was like, one day I was like, very like being goofy and weird. And she's like, you're being annoying. I'm like, oh, okay, you're right. So like in a playful way, but also just kind of made me like, okay, like I'm going to like keep myself a little bit reserved. But now as doing these videos on my own, now that's what I was talking about earlier. The more you're yourself in front of your camera, the more people will respect you. You might get the odd comment of people saying stupid shit, but they can get lost, right? But yeah,
no matter what.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. Like, how you feel free with your job right now, and just like now you're on Patreon doing all these things. That's how I'm feeling. After like putting that on Instagram and seeing the insane reception it got, like I was blown away by that. I just felt good. I felt relieved. And then I went on live stream. We had double the amount of viewers on my live stream than I usually do. I'm just like, let's fucking go. Like, let's go. Like, yeah. And then like, I don't know. There's like I haven't felt this good in a long time, to be honest. There's like,
that makes me super happy.
I don't know. I feel like this is something I needed to do. I didn't realize. I had no idea this is what I should have done, but I feel like there's like a fire inside me to just get it. Like, I don't know. So yeah, I don't know.
I feel that. Yeah. I feel like we're both in like a really similar place for different reasons. Hopefully this is about to be our years. I feel like you've been doing really cool stuff, and I feel like I would be shocked if this was not your year. 2022 was a weird ass year. Like, it was good. A lot of good stuff happened, but I just feel like this one is going to be better. Maybe a lot of stuff had to change and move around or become obvious last year. Like, maybe more of the METALBIRB stuff was like coming forward for you, like realizing it had to come off the channel and stuff like that. And then the beginning of this year, you're taking them down and kind of doing what you want to do. So hopefully that fire just keeps burning.
Another thing that made it hard was it's roughly 400 videos or more of METALBIRB. Yeah, it's a lot of videos. And each video would take me 3 hours to make. And then also some of these videos would be like weird, quirky ones that would take me 6 or 7 hours sometimes. But I calculated it. It's over 1,200 hours of work taken down. It's insane amount. So it was so hard to take it down. And I'm looking at my videos now, and like the views are just not the same. But but it's me now. Like, it's me.
It's you. That's what's important. Is like, because with your content too. I found like I loved your videos then and stuff, but now you do you go so much more in depth, and I just feel like you are more like yourself too, like how you're saying, like you're doing the videos and it's you, and you're not any sort of like, it's not like, you can tell when someone is, or at least I think as people who sit in front of a camera, it's easier for us to tell when somebody is overly aware, doing stuff because they're in front of a camera. And like I never felt that way with you, but you could tell a little bit of like that reservedness, I think, whereas now it's not like that at all. Like, you just do what you do on camera, and then after you can tell how much you've learned in doing this too, with the way that you speak about music and stuff like that, because you really do learn. If you care to, you can learn, like doing the reviews at the end, speaking with people about music, and you can just see how much you've grown and changed. So people who like those videos more probably aren't looking for the type of content that you are creating anyway, and those people are going to find you now that you're fully doing your own thing. That's how, because like obviously I've talked a
Exactly.
little bit about this recently. Like obviously there are things you could do on YouTube that would get you all the views in the world right away, and it's not small dance, and it's not this or that. But if you do take the time to do that, slowly you start realizing the audience that is building up for you is the right audience for you. And it's more, to me at least, I find it to be much more rewarding that I have the amount of subscribers I have and the community I have. It's more than I ever dreamed of anyway. So I'm just chilling, I'm just
Hell yeah.
thrilled with it.
Sorry.
But if I were to go on, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I just want to say that's what you're doing. It's like a slow uphill. Don't just like with anything, like it's not even just YouTube, but like talking about careers or something, just don't like try to make money as fast as possible. Like there's no get rich schemes. Like you have to just put in the effort, be your genuine self, constantly learn though. Don't stay plateauing, but just learn and evolve. And that's exactly what you're just kind of conveying right there. And I love that. That's what I'm trying to do. And yeah, I huge amount of respect for that.
Right. Yeah. And a huge respect to you too, because it's not always easy. And I was reading a comment. I saw a smaller YouTube channel like mine. I don't want to say small either and discredit the amount of subscribers that we have, but I saw someone posting that they were frustrated with their, like the amount of views that they had. The fact that they'd had their channel for such and such amount of years and weren't at such and such milestone yet. And I felt so obligated to comment and be like, you have to like, and I did because of the way that I am. Yeah, of course. Not in a rude, but I just said,
I saw someone post this. I didn't. Okay.
I think you may know who this is. Yeah. And because it's sad to see, because I like seeing this person do what they do. They care, but it's the whole, it's not, it's the way that it's looked at by everyone else. How many subscribers, that's typically when you say you have a YouTube channel, the next question is how many subscribers do you have? And that's not the most important. Like, I just feel like as content creators, we should keep in mind to subscribers and stuff like that. Maybe it's not the same, but for us, we need to keep in mind that like, that's not what it's all about, because I feel like if I were to be sitting on an empire of like 1 million subscribers or something, obviously I cheated to get there or something, or did something that didn't align with who I am. And then I wouldn't feel right about where I was, and I really believe that if you're supposed to be doing something, and if you're doing it to the best of your ability and being your most authentic self while doing it, it's gonna work out for you eventually. But maybe you have to put some sweat, blood, tears into it first, and then maybe your day comes 5 years, 6 years, 10 years into your channel. Maybe you find something else while you're doing this. Maybe you make a connection while you're doing this, and you meet somebody who has an opening at a label or some shit. Who knows? But if you do it only for views and only for likes and stuff, I just wouldn't find that rewarding. I don't really look at that. Like, of course I notice milestones and things like that, but if my shit was declining or whatever, I would probably just be like, like I've seen it happen before, and I'm just like, well, like I haven't posted very much lately and this and that, but when I am posting and I'm being myself, my little slow climb comes back. It's good.
So, okay, I love that. And another way that I look at it is like bands, actually. Like, bands, it takes them so long to eventually blow up, right? It takes them like 6, 8, maybe 10 years. Like Lauren Shore, it took them forever. Now they're huge. So that's how I see with like us, like, or whatever. Like, I know that I make good content, and that you make good content. The people that watch know, but like for other people to notice, it's going to take some time. But like also like you just keep plugging away. But also like you got to keep getting better too. That's another thing. So like with that person that just like, oh, why are people watching? Like I've seen people like get kind of frustrated with their audience. Like, I need you guys to comment. I need you guys to like these videos. Like, why am I putting all this effort in these videos if you guys aren't actually interacting? I'm like, you should not get mad with your audience. No, that's a no-no. Like the audience, like you can help direct them, that maybe likes and comments do help. And so that's a good thing to like convey with them, but don't get mad. Instead, kind of reflect on yourself and like, what can you do better? What can you do better as a content creator? Or like even people like that are listening that are obviously not all content creators, but like in your job, like what can you do to just become a better version of yourself? And so like, I noticed my views kind of declining too. I'm like, oh man, what can I do to be a little bit better? Cause I love doing this. So I started like focusing on other platforms. Like, okay, if my views are kind of going down on YouTube a little bit, I'm going to start going on TikTok. And then like so last year I had this like cool editing style. I'm like, okay, I love the editing style that I'm doing on TikTok here, but I kept it very private. I'm like, I don't want anyone to know what I'm doing on TikTok because I don't want people to copy my style. And eventually it kind of happened. It is what it is now. There's other people kind of doing sort of my style. But like, that's what I mean. So now I'm doing well on TikTok, but that's going to translate over to YouTube. But also what I feel like letting go of the METALBIRB stuff, I think is what my community needed to hear. And for me to just feel more confident and free is going to help my YouTube videos. That's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm thinking. I'm confident about it. Yeah. So, but anyway, the point is, sorry, go ahead.
Well, just something about what you had just said too. Like when you're doing something well, people are going to copy you. Like when you know, no matter what you do, but you know when you've done something. Like when I first started my channel and I started my Unsigned Sundays, I had a very big channel steal my idea. Like very big channel.
What?
Huge channel.
Okay.
Giant channel. And I had like 400 subs or something like that.
What?
So I was pissed. I was pissed.
Yeah.
And I was like, and Keem told me, I talked to Keem about it because I posted about it and was like, I can't believe like this channel with like 1 million subscribers is taking my idea. And Keem was like, no, you should not let this happen. Like that's bullshit that this like, and like kind of confirmed that, because I was like, maybe they just also thought of it and then posted it on a Tuesday for some reason, even though it's supposed to be Sunday and this band is also signed. But yeah, no, it was just because the Unsigned Sundays kind of started taking, because those bands would share it, and then that kind of got a little traction, you know? And then, yeah, so that ended up going away. Like that person didn't try to continue it.
I'm trying to look for
it. I don't want it to be on the video, but I could tell you who it is.
It's okay. It's okay. Like if you don't want to make it public, don't make it public. That's okay.
Yeah. Because it's a very big channel. But yeah, it was super surprising. For nothing like that has ever happened to me again, though. It's just when my channel was super nothing like that directly, obviously. Sometimes people will comment and be like, this person is making videos like you, and I'm like, I don't care, like that's good, like thanks. I think
there's something good about Confrontation a little bit, but obviously 400 subs to 1 million subscriber channel, there's a big that's a big fight right there. But I guess for me, right, like there was the Finn McKenty video, which I've brought up in podcast before, right? But you obviously know what happened there, right? So yeah, he talked about 99% of reaction channels are trash. Whatever, it's a joke, it's fine. But he used a clip of me soon afterwards. And like, there's a clip of me, and then he just said reaction channels are trash. Now there's 100,000 views on that video, and people are now going to associate my channel with being kind of shitty content. And I'm like, I put so much fucking work into this channel, like no way. So I let it sit for like 5 days because like I had that mindset like, no, I don't want to stir the pot. I'm not that kind of guy, right? I don't want to deal with this. But I'm like, no, I'm going to do it respectfully because I do like Finn. I do. I don't agree with his opinions the majority of the time, but I do respect the guy. So I'm like, I did it in a respectful way. He watched the video, and now we're kind of like weird buddies, like in a way.
I saw you reply to one of
he
his
replies to my
tweets
comments,
recently, and I was like, yeah, and I was like, well, shit, haven't the tables turned?
That's what I mean. So that's what I mean. That a confrontation might be a good thing. Like if you see someone really doing something that you don't like, call their shit out.
Yeah. Not like to just be an asshole, but stuff like that really should be, because then if you don't, like, especially like, I mean, some people like they're like, I'm gonna call out everyone who breathes in my space, and it's like not like that. But in those situations, I think it is important to sort of, and as you said, respectfully can be a way that you do that. But I do think it's important to like have that boundary. Even replying sometimes to rude comments, it's like sometimes I think about not replying, and then I'm like, yeah, you know, like
it is really nice to put someone in their place a little bit. There was a comment today on my Instagram for I put a clip of the new Sleep Token song, and someone said like, this band is so overrated, which is fine. Like you can not like a song, that's totally fine. But I also just hate the comment overrated, especially when Sleep Token, how many headline tours that they had? Like I think they're about to go on their first, well, they've had like some headline shows I kind of figured out, but not really like a big tour, right? I haven't even seen
No.
these guys live, and they only had like an opening slot for Polyphia, right? I know.
No, they opened for, so I flew to Chicago last year to see them open for In This Moment. I'm not a huge In This Moment fan, so we really flew there and went to see them open.
Yeah.
They played 6 songs. Like, we need that. Yeah, but you're right. Like, they are blowing up now, but people aren't even aware of sundowning and stuff. They don't
No.
they're blowing up now, and people are like aware of, like, people are saying stuff like, "Oh, sleep, I didn't know Sleep Token is ever heavy," and stuff like that. And it's like, if they were overrated, people would be very aware of their entire discography, you know?
You know, I made that tweet before, but I think we gotta stop saying bands are overrated in the scene. Like even Lauren Shore, like Lauren Shore is overrated. Man, like they put in like fucking 20 years of work or something, and now they're getting big. Sure, you might not like their music, but the fact that they're putting metal on the masses, we should be proud of that. We should be excited for that, because that's just going to put more metal in front of more people, which just helps the scene. Then there's going to be more bands. Maybe if we were in the pop realm where there's a lot of successful artists, a lot of people making millions of dollars, right? Then sure, that person's overrated. That person doesn't deserve the success. No, they did some shady stuff to get there. But a band like Lauren Shore, who's been grinding, who's lost vocalists, and now they have a new vocalist, and they're killing it. Be fucking proud. No, they're not overrated. Sure, you might not like their music. I don't completely love their music, but I think they're a really cool band, and I'm happy for their success. But no, they're not overrated.
Yeah, even as someone who doesn't, like, I don't listen to Lorna Shore much, and I like their music, and I like doing videos for them because it has like that factor when you're first listening to it, and it has a lot that you can analyze and a lot to pick apart. But overall, like, I don't listen to them a bunch, and still I'm really stoked for them because it's cool to see a band so close to home and not like close to home, but like close to what we listen to get that sort of recognition, because normally the artists that do are the complete opposite of like anything that I listen to, except like maybe Billie Eilish or something like that. Like, I like a little bit of Billie, not her most recent album wasn't really for me, but a lot of her older stuff I really like. But you know, otherwise, none of the bands if any of the bands I listen to get the chance to make it that way, I mean, go ahead and do that. Like, good for you, because I mean, they're not there just for us to go to their small, intimate shows and to be our niche interests. They're trying to make a living and make it and like get somewhere. And if we can see them do that, we surely shouldn't be shitting on them. We should be like, go get them.
I know, you know, exactly. Be proud of it. And also, just the better the music does, the more content we have too. So it helps us out. But no, you're talking about Billie Eilish. Like, another thing is, like, metalheads are always kind of shy to talk about bands that they like outside the genre, which is another thing that I feel like needs to stop. Metalheads, there's so much gatekeeping. There's so much elitists that just say like, oh, you like that band? Oh, that's weird. Because like I recently made you know, Spotify puts out your like top 5 artists or whatever that you most listen to. My number 2 was Baby No Money. He's a Canadian rapper. I don't know. I was so obsessed with his like beats. He's a funny guy, and his music is just really fun. When I have like friends or family over, he's kind of easy listening, right? It's not metal. And so like I'm like, but like I don't even give a shit. I'm like, this is who I listen to. Damn straight. Baby No Money's my number 2. He's awesome. You guys should go listen to him. I got like one comment. Yeah, I got one comment. It's like, oh, Burb is a Baby No Money fan. Cool. I'm like, hell yeah.
People do that. I post my chart every week of what I've listened to. And some weeks it'll be all metalcore. Some weeks Justin Timberlake may be on that bitch. Like, who knows? But I don't care. Like, I honestly, whenever people say guilty pleasure and stuff, I just don't relate to that. I don't care. I love Billie Eilish. Eilish. I love a little bit of Miley Cyrus sometimes. Like, not very often. Shake It Off by Mariah Carey. I'll leave that listening on
Mariah
Spotify
Carey?
on my Discord too. Yeah. Hell yeah. Like, and also having that depth I feel like it's beneficial when listening, because sometimes a lot of the genres, or like artists I listen to, I should say, will blend something and I'll be like, that shit almost sounded a little bit like something else. I mean, the bulk of what I listen to is heavy or proggy or metalcore, but once in a while I'm gonna throw on Justified by Justin Timberlake.
Hell
Love
yeah.
that album.
But like even like
Tracy Chapman.
we keep talking about Sleep Tone, but I feel like there's more to talk about. Like the style of vocals he uses is very pop. It's something that you hear pop artists do. And there's like, you know, a lot of metalheads like, oh, I can't stand his voice. Like he's sure he has a good voice, but I can't stand the way he sings. I get it. That's fine. But what I'm noticing by also making clips, like I made a TikTok. My TikTok's like 275,000 views for Chokehold. Like, yeah, TikTok's crazy. It's crazy. But why it's doing well is because there's that vocal hook. It's that vocal run that he does before like the chorus. And for people that aren't into metal music, they'll be like, ooh, what is that sound? And then they hear that drop with the Thall. And then they're like, ooh, this is cool. Like there's no screaming or anything. It's like a gateway song for casual people that are not into metal to listen to. So that's why I think the song's a 10. I think the song's 10, just execution. It's not a real metal track, but for what the song is, I think it's just executed perfectly, and it's going to get people into the metal genre, which I am stoked for.
Yeah, and they won't even realize they're listening to some Thall ass riff either.
I know. That's pretty funny. People don't even know what Thall is. A lot of people don't even know what Thall is. I've heard some other YouTubers describe Thall. I'm just like,
It's comes from Buster Oldholm in Humanity's Last Breath. So like his guitar, like not even just the tone, like his style is super identifiable. Like if you listen to Humanity's Last Breath's most recent album, which is fantastic, by the way.
Yeah.
It's really good. But in that style, it's there. And then you'll hear other bands like there's this band, a smaller band called Aru. And they comment on everything that I post. They comment Thall, and they've kind of adopted that guitar style in their music too. But bands that Buster works with, then you'll typically hear that as well. But it's in the riffs.
I would argue it happened like with the Viljarta days. You ever listen to old Viljarta like Omnislash?
Oh wait, maybe that's. I don't.
It started before Buster because Buster got in a little bit later, but like Viljarta was like, it was like a meme, just like how Gent became a meme. It was just a word.
Oh my god.
Yeah, right.
That I was around for. Thall I got into. I had to ask on one of my videos. I was like, where does Thall come from? Like, I can't say this when I don't know what the hell it means. You know what? Because people comment. You know, when people comment on your video, Thall, and I was like, okay, like I almost understand this, but what are y'all talking about? And that's how I found out. I wasn't like, but Gent, that was something I was around for my Reddit days when I spent a whole lot of time on Reddit too. That it's still all around, like that meme, the initial memes and stuff still go around some of those like Gentcore Reddit like subreddits and shit like that.
Periphery 5's new album is called Gent Is Not a Genre. Like literally. And
they have merch. So I bought a shirt like 2 or 3 years ago from Periphery that had that on like real small on the back of it and stuff too. So like that's something they've had in their back pocket for. They're always naming their album some weird ass shit, like just goofy as hell. I feel like they go to like with Gent Is Not a Genre being the new album title, they're like, what can we do? What can we do here? You know, like trying to come up with almost like they knew that some people, like, I'm not sure if you ever frequent the subreddits or anything with people talking about album announcements. I like to
r/metalcore and all
yeah
that?
And I like to go into prog and stuff like that.
Prog metal,
you know, with Periphery, prog metal for drops like Periphery, The Contortionist, things like that. And I was just reading through that one about the album title, reading everybody's back and forth, laughing because it's hilarious at the same time. But now that I said that, I really do feel like I mixed up my information about Humanity's Last Breath. And
so I'm going to sound like a know-it-all, but I'm going to say that it started with Viljarta as like a meme, but like I think the best way to describe Thall music is just like very low, loose strings where it's very bendy, like, and then it has like that odd ambience and then odd time signatures. That's the best way to describe Thall. It's just like bendy, loose, and heavy. Where Gent is more like And speaking of Gent Is Not a Genre, like, yeah, like I would also argue like back in the day, Gent is not a genre. When people say like, oh, Gent music, I'm like, this is just kind of like progressive metal. It's just the guitars that have like that Gent sound, but this is just a progressive metal song or something.
It's definitely like like gent being a sound that I'm much more familiar with than the Thall stuff, but you're definitely right on this. I'm reading this website has like
What is it?
it's called
Thall.com?
no, it's called no clean singing is the
Really?
website. Yeah, and it's like it's got the initial meme date timestamp and everything, December 1st, 2011, and it's like, yeah, you were right about it
Oh
being
my
a
god, no clean saying. I'm looking at it right now, and it's the most typical metal site that you can see.
Isn't it hilarious with the orange like for the words that stick out and stuff? It's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know,
Damn.
man. That's the problem, right? It's just like you can't advance the genre, and it's always going to be a niche thing. And as soon as people start introducing other things, then it's not as special to them. Then things get overrated. Oh, that's not metal music. What, like that metal site? I forget what it's called, Metal Encyclopedia or something. But the thing is,
Yeah.
they don't have metalcore music because they argue metalcore is not metal music. And I think that is such a stupid, lame argument that needs to just be over and like done with. I don't know how people still don't think metalcore is not metal music. Like, to me, if a band sounds heavier than Metallica, then they're metal. Okay?
I guess it's like it's such a I can never find myself giving that much of a shit. You know what I mean? Like people get so up in arms about it and I'm like, "Damn, do y'all really care this much?" Like seeing people argue and sorry, my hair's looking insane right now.
I know, I have the same problem
my
too.
headphones almost fell off.
Both got
And
long hair.
long hair problems with the headphones, it's always a problem. But people just I guess people get up in arms about everything though. Like some people are just ready to argue about anything. And with me, I'm like, if I'm incorrect, I'm perfectly willing to to own that and be like, oh, okay. But people are like waiting for that very moment to just be like, you're wrong and I hate you and you suck and you're the stupidest person in the world. Go and die. Like, wow, man, chill out. Couldn't you just be nice and be like, oh, actually, like
Please let people know about the comment calling you a dumbass for not liking Lauren Shore as much as them.
oh yeah, I got called a dumbass. All caps, and I got a few comments on my list that were like so out of pocket. Somebody said to me, on my list, they were like, no, I can't remember if it was also about Lorna Shore or if it was Darko that I didn't include. Also, I didn't listen to Darko before I made my list because they put it out at the end of of December. So I was like, I'm just gonna get to this next year. But they commented and they were like, really? And you say you know metal? And I was like, when did I ever say that? Like I said, these are my favorite albums. My channel is just me listening to music. I never claimed to know anything. Like, what?
There's so many angry little turds.
I know. Like, please, I don't know who upset you, but surely it wasn't me by just not including it on my list. Like, I reacted to it on the channel. My thoughts are there. Like, I'm not gonna include something on the list just for you if it's not. I mean, I make my list by what I listened to the most and enjoyed the most because otherwise it would be too difficult to make a list that doesn't reflect properly what I felt, you know?
Yeah, but the one thing about comments is that I don't think anyone will realize how to comment until they become like a public figure. If they're a content creator, if they're online a lot, and then they can gauge comments like, oh, okay, these people are being turds. Like the way that I can use example, it's like fast food. I worked fast food. I worked at McDonald's for 5 years. And so like, doing drive-through, working customer service. So now when I pull up to McDonald's, I'm so friendly to them. I'm just like, hey, how are you? Like, I know you're busy. I know what it's like. I know what you're doing a whole bunch of other things, and that's why there could be a slowdown. It's fine. I can be patient, right? And I think that's what would happen for commenters to be like, oh, wow, I used to comment like a prick, but now I'm like or now I'm in the public eye, and now I kind of get it. Do you know what I mean?
I thought of that. That's a really good comparison. I've never thought of that, but it's so true. Like once you've worked in retail, once you've worked in food service and stuff, you are overly aware of what those people are going through, or at least most people are. If you're not, it's kind of concerning. But for the most part, you're more aware. And I never really thought about, I don't think I ever left comments on people's YouTube videos before. So I don't think for me, it was like, I leave comments now, but I never ever really, I don't know. I never had like a big ol' I never got super mad at somebody on YouTube and
Yeah.
felt the need to like, leave a comment on their video, to my memory at least. Maybe I'm wrong, but
You're a
you know, some
dumbass.
like yeah, something like that. But I guess like you're right. If they don't, a lot of people are, it's hard to be aware of something. Like you can't give everyone experience that they don't have either. Like sometimes people may genuinely not realize that they come, except some people, you know, you're trying to be an ass, like you're going, but some people probably genuinely don't realize how rude they come off and how much work you put into a channel and putting together lists and dealing with you know, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Why? But all like with the list, just let me have my damn list.
Oh my
Okay.
god. So okay, with my lists, right? In all of my lists, like in my latest videos, I'm just like, I don't care if you agree or disagree with my list. All I care about is you find a new band. That's what's important to me. That's literally the message that I'm trying to convey. I don't care
Right.
if Bad Omens is not my number one. You shouldn't care. I can't help the way that I feel about music. It's impossible to please every single one of you. All of us are different. It's not going to happen. So just listen to my list, but hopefully you find a new band. But then I got one guy, all cap locks. He's just like, oh, what an L take, Burb. I used to like you. What an L take. How could you put Monuments as number 16 and Ithaca as number 1? Oh my God. And then he made another comment, and like some of my Discord peeps were like replying back to him, just going like, kind of like telling him to calm down. And then he would just reply like, you're a clown. Like some people just got so heated. Just like, you don't even bother with those people. Actually, I did leave a comment. I barely reply to these people, but sometimes you kind of have to put them in their place a little bit just so they shut
I
up.
will
And
reply.
yeah, well, I tend to ignore them, but sometimes like I'll use them as an example. Like, don't be like this guy. So like to that one guy, I just replied like, ladies and gentlemen, like this is probably the most butthurt comment I've seen. Like, LOL.
That's, I wish I could do that. I should do that. Like I shouldn't reply to people who piss me off all the time. But they just, the audacity sometimes is uncanny. It's unbelievable. Because like, I don't know, name calling over like I just don't know. Like
Name calling's bad.
it's so rude, and but other stuff I will ignore sometimes. I'm like, meh, you know, I'm not gonna get into this. But somebody commented just the other day, somebody commented and was like, on my era video, or not my era video, on my album of the year video, and they go, no era, unsubscribe. And I was like, era was in my 2021 videos, but bye. Like, okay, like not only, and someone else had left a rude ass comment about, I think Phineas not being, they were like, no, it wasn't rude, actually. Sorry, I take that back. It wasn't rude. It was like almost sarcastic though in how it read. It was like, I must be blind. There's no Phineas, the fire itself. Surely I'm just not seeing it, or something like that. And I was like, came out in 2021.
Oh,
And then he
yeah.
replied and he's like, yeah, that's my bad. And I was like, it's like I think the initial approach wasn't like out of pocket. I just replied because it was like, oh, that one was 2021. Also, wouldn't be in my top for this year if it did come out this year either.
Yeah, I know. I know a lot of people
Mhm.
don't realize that. Oh, but yeah, okay. Let's shift the conversation. Let's get a little bit serious in here. So,
Okay.
let's talk about burnout and mental health. Because with you, yeah, you were talking about how you were going through a lot. Right now, you're talking about how you're feeling good and I'm feeling good. That's great. But let's talk about like some of the struggles that you had with like last year. And like, were you ever thinking about like the YouTube channel, like, okay, maybe I don't want to do this. Like, this is too much. And like maybe thinking you should do something else instead. Did that ever happen to you?
Yeah, there were never before last year, multiple times last year. A few of the times where I took a break, it was so that I didn't just like stop making content altogether, and not I guess not like the same frustration of like, it's not engagement frustration or anything like that. It's more just like what we were talking about, where like I had all of these things that I wanted to do, all of these things I wanted, but I just felt bad, and like I couldn't make the content I really wanted to make because I just wasn't feeling very me. Um, and so I was like, you know, maybe I just can't, like, I can't juggle all this stuff. It's too late in my life for me to figure out like making this work with you know, having to figure out my job and things like that. And so there were a few times where I was like, maybe I'm just gonna hang it up and stop making videos. But then it would always happen that I would look at my page and someone would be like, oh my God, thanks so much for posting this band. I'd never heard of them before. I'm going to check out their discography. And I would see those comments and I'd be like, I have to keep doing this.
Yep.
Like this, if anything that I can do in the world other than like, you know, that's not related to like dogs or something like that. If I could save every dog in the world,
I can relate so much to that.
Yeah, exactly. That would be the number one. But if I can't do that, which obviously I can't, then if I could at least like provide a platform where people can find bands that I really love and I think they deserve more attention and that would keep me going. But to answer your question without too many words, yes, multiple times. And have you felt that same way?
Oh yeah, but like I want to talk about your passion for music again because I think that is so important. When someone like it's those little comments that keeps you going. It's the Discord community, it's the Patreon members that like actually support me. I'm like, I got to keep making videos for these guys. I feel like I'm going to be letting so many people down if I were to stop. So that's another thing. But like, no, I think that's just really, really cool. And for me with Burnout, yeah, I had it so many times. There's with the METALBIRB stuff, I was already kind of talking about, but man, the amount of times I wanted to quit was insane. Like I really thought, do I start a new channel? But I still want to talk about metal music. Do I just like rename the channel? But it's always been METALBIRB. That's why I had a hard time. Like there was another channel. It was two guys. It was like rock or something. It was pretty good content. I liked it. But it was two guys. And eventually they had to make a video saying like, we can't do this anymore. We both live in different towns and it's hard for us. So they kind of went their own ways. But it's actually really cool. So the one guy became like a fitness influencer. And he's actually making reactions talking about other people's fitness. And he has like tons of views. Like, whoa, he totally shifted. Now he's a fitness influencer. The other guy stuck to music, but he's doing really well. He reacts to like, I don't know, Kanye West and stuff like that. But really? Yeah. So, but he's like, he gets tons of views too. And like really, really cool. But like for me, I think my channel was always called METALBIRB. So like, I just can't picture myself doing anything else other than metal music. The other thing that I actually thought about was some sort of personal health channel or like personal growth channel or something, like a mental health channel. Like obviously I keep talking about it because it's important to me. And that's why I made that video too. And the amount of comments on that video. Have you ever watched that video? It's kind of
I have.
Okay. That's it wasn't.
Yeah, I saw you post about it. And so I watched it and I probably would have watched it anyway. You are the only person that I have YouTube notifications on for. I don't have YouTube notifications on for anyone else. I could prove that.
Oh, thank you.
Sounds like a lie just because I'm
here. No.
Yeah,
thank you. But
I get YouTube notifications for you. So I saw it pop up and I had to watch it, but it's I really respect doing that kind of thing too.
She's not lying. For people on audio, she's not lying. But that's okay. No, that's awesome. I'm glad you watched. But the thing was, like, after I made that video, you never know the reception you're going to get when you do these things, right? When you stick to reaction videos, you know what you're going to get. When you do something a little bit different, it's like experimenting. Some of my videos that are not reaction videos, sometimes they flop, sometimes they do well. You never know. Even making the post about METALBIRB, I didn't know how people would perceive it. I had no idea. And so with the mental health video, it was just like, it was so many people saying like, thank you for this video and opening up about their stories. And a lot of people just saying thank you for giving them tips on mental health. So I guess where I'm going with this is like, if I wasn't doing METALBIRB, I think that would be the other thing I would have to do. But the why I wouldn't is that I just don't think I'm there. I don't think I'm there to provide the feedback, right? I think there's a bunch of other people that do it already on YouTube, so they're really good at it, but like maybe one day. But right now, I can't picture myself doing anything else other than talking about metal music. But
yeah, especially, yeah, I mean, and I think you'll know too, like if you're ready to take that on and stuff, but you also know where your passion lies, and if it's like METALBIRB is what feels right to you, maybe someday you will. I've thought too, I'm like, it would be kind of fun to have a channel that was about history, but I was like, that would be such a crazy jump and like so wildly different. Like people have to go out and like make videos going to sites of, you know, historic places and stuff. Or you could recap, like I like to retell, I give the TLDR to my friends of like historic events a lot of times, but then I just talk like myself. So I'll be like, and then this bitch really told this whole ass crew came to arrest him. And he convinced them to become their crew and sail that bitch right back and attack, like stuff like that.
I didn't know you said bitch so many times.
Oh yeah, not on YouTube. That's like one of my favorite words. I don't know why, like
say it on YouTube,
like in a mean way or anything like that. Just like, oh bitch, this bitch, that bitch, I'm bitch, everybody's bitch. It's not a bad thing.
Say it on YouTube. Say it on YouTube. Just go for it.
I did. I sure did.
Yeah, when it feels right, just do it. Like that's what people like, right? Yeah. Just bitch.
Yeah. That's what I guess. Like coming back from the break and like feeling so much like myself. Like that bitch moment was a perfect example of how like my filter of like, oh, you it just like did not like, because sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't know. I feel like, you know, that kid came up to me and it was his first concert ever. And I think he was like, you know, he wasn't like a baby, obviously. That'd be weird. I'd be like, don't watch my videos, small baby or whatever. But you know, like younger, I don't want them being like, oh, I'm a, you know, my nieces and nephews or something if they're to watch. But it doesn't ultimately matter. I think just feeling more like myself, it'll be more like that and stuff. And people are like, oh, on my streams and stuff, it usually is. They get a lot more of like the
real
full,
you, yeah.
Yeah, and because I try to like keep it as, I mean, if a song makes me drop a bitch, that's got to be something. But normally in conversation, it's something that I don't know why. It's probably somebody I hang out with said. It's what we were talking about earlier, how if you're to watch somebody's videos a lot and you may pick up, I feel like somebody I'm around a lot says it. And
I feel like we're so alike in some ways. I do feel like I can be quite reserved. I want to keep things kind of friendly. Sure, I'll drop a lot of like F-bombs for sure in my videos, but like I feel like I try to keep things reserved a little bit. But whatever comes out of your mouth, just fucking say it. Like, I don't know. And let the bitches happen. If I say stupid shit that doesn't even make sense, I feel like people start to like it. What I'm saying now is like, this do be hitting, this do be a banger, or like this do be gorgeous, or this do be pretty. But people are like,
we are the same.
Yeah, but now people are like saying like, ooh, this do be a banger. Like people pick up on those words. Like it doesn't matter if it's not proper English. They just like, if you're feeling it, they'll feel it too.
Like Doobie, I don't know where that came from because all my friends say that. I'm like, I do be learning.
That was for me.
I'm like, what?
All your friends watch me. That's where it came from. No, I don't know.
Yeah, they're not super metal people and stuff. That like verbiage came so out of, and yeah, just like I always talk in like my friend and I, like my very good friend and I will be like, how you and stuff, like, you know, just like shortening stuff down. And so I feel like that then translates sometimes. You're speaking in front of the camera and you're like, you know, you just do something else like that and people really don't care. Like I said something dumb like that in my sleep token reaction. I think it was the other thing people were commenting about a lot. What the hell did I say?
What the funk?
Said excuse. No, I said
yeah, it was like excuse me or something. Or was this
yeah. I said excuse the groove, which doesn't make any sense at all. And people were commenting, excuse the groove, ha ha ha. You know, like nobody was like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, you know, people just accept that because it's like, you know, it's what comes to mind. Just say it. Like,
exactly.
Sleep token is bringing out all kinds of authentic things from people and just like causing. I'm excited to see though. I feel like with us starting with that this year, there's going to be some good stuff coming up.
This is the year of progressive metal. That's what I'm calling it. Literally sleep token to start it off. And what I find really cool is that a lot of people are just like, ooh, long songs are not for me. Ooh, I don't like long songs. And like, for me, I've always liked long songs when they're good, right? I don't care about length. If it's a good song, it's a good song. And so sleep token being 6 minutes and 30 seconds, like I haven't heard anybody complain about the time duration. A lot of metalcore people are just like, wow, this song is really good. I'm like, yes, this is what prog metal is about. Like it's just good fucking metal music. It has breakdowns, it's everything you want, but it has just a flowy kind of structure that's not the same thing that you keep hearing all the time. And that's why I think, yeah, now Periphery, the Contortionists are wearing a Contortionist hoodie. They better goddamn release something this year.
They must.
They must. Aviations is another one. Aviations is going to be cooking up with their album, I think, this year. They're supposed to be last year, right? Tesseract 2. Like, I think this is the year of prog metal making a big comeback.
I think I've heard whispers about Archaean possibly putting out another, and they're very like. Have you listened to them?
I don't think so.
It's Arcaeon. They're very era-esque, but like in the proggy type of in the proggy realm of things, I suppose.
Yeah.
There's whispers of them bringing something to this year too, and I hope that they go even proggier about, because personally, you know, I love prog, and I said the same. So I had a conversation recently I did like my first podcast ever with some like featuring on one, not my own. It's not really for me, I don't think. But I went on one, and they asked me, do you have any predictions for 2023? And I was like, I guess that I think people are gonna take a stance on what they not that I know which way it will go, but I think people will start talking about like prog length, like long tracks. People are gonna either love it or hate it, but it will be talked about more this year, I think, than ever before, because this year the amount of prog releases are insane, and I don't think that we've seen a year like this where we're just like, if the Contortionist and Periphery release this year, we're very lucky people to be alive. And I feel like the timestamps will be like that length where people will then go, you know, I just listened to two really long feeling albums, or like where the songs feel long, and then it will become more of a conversation, because yeah, metalcore, and especially when you get further into the hardcore side of stuff, where you get like a 1.5 minute beatdown track or something like that, people are not used to an 8-minute track. What is this? Like, bro, go back in the Contortionist discography and stuff like that, and you know, it's gonna be, but it fits the songs, you know, like some of their best songs are over 5 minutes, and they must be.
Yeah, I know. Like, if the song is not a rush to the finish, just let it keep going. Like the Sleep Token song, one of my favorite parts of that song was like the 1:30 long synth work, and just a with like the piano build up before it got to the funk section. That part is just beautiful, and it just creates that kind of like tension, but you don't know where the song is taking you. But it's moments like that, just you wouldn't hear that in a typical metalcore track, because that's a 1:30 of just synth. Right. And I think that's the beauty of the music. You just kind of like listen to the full experience kind of thing. Like pacing and songwriting is all important too. Right. But yeah, I think this is the year of prog metal, which is funny because I actually tweeted out recently that I don't know how relevant prog metal will be, because people's attention spans keep getting shorter. And like TikTok, right, where there's so much data about TikTok making people's attention span shorter, social media just keeps making it worse. Now, since Instagram's trying to be like TikTok, YouTube too with shorts, like people's attention spans, like if it doesn't grip me within the first 5 seconds, no. So that's why I'm like, prog metal is like doomed. I can't see prog metal doing well. But that Sleep Token song, I'm like, this song is fucking phenomenal. No, like, I don't know, maybe prog metal will make a comeback. I also do think that this will be the year. I tweeted this too. Tweet a lot of shit. Bad Omen. Bands in 2023 will sound like Bad Omens with Thall. Like, just simplified. I think
I saw that.
It's just gonna be sexy, seducing vocals with like Thall heavy breakdowns, and that's what the Sleep Token shit was about already.
Yeah, and Sleep Token is good at doing that too. But that riff was the chokehold riff had me surprised.
Yeah,
like I wasn't expecting that to come in that way. And I know that one's like the more accessible one, but because everything else that's happening behind or around that Thall riff is so accessible, really, that you almost like don't, like, people probably won't notice, like, that don't listen to heavy music, that's really a heavy aspect of the song, but just used in a really light song, so it brings something different. You know, when it's clashing over a sound like that, it's different. Than you could use that same riff in a heavy ass track though, and it would work.
Yeah.
It just has a different character because it's in chokehold.
Yeah, the execution of it, the tone of the song is just where how it's placed, right? Like that's the thing about like heavy bands like Enterprise Earth, right? I love them, but they just wrote a 7-minute heavy track. Have you heard it yet? Maybe I shouldn't
No,
spoil it.
so I don't know
Can I?
if I'm yeah, just go ahead because I heard the tail end of what you said about it on your stream because I
Oh,
joined your stream that day right after and you had mentioned that it was kind of like um I don't want to make it sound but like that it didn't vary enough to be that long and so I was like I'm
so
not in a rush to get into this.
yeah, well, at the time of the sleep token thing, like why that fall riff hit so hard is because like it's building up to it, right? And it's a shock factor. It has like a sense of purpose. So a 7-minute pure heavy track, um, there's no tension. There was no tension. There was like I'm not going to spoil the song, but I think that was another issue. I'm just like it's just heavy the whole way through. I'm like okay, but because of it, it felt one dimensional. It just like that was my issue with it. Where something like Sleep Token, on the other hand, it just felt like it had purpose, a sense of purpose to be heavy, a sense of purpose to be slow. But yeah, this
It
is
utilized the time well. Yeah, because when you go into like a funk outro that way, when you have all the different aspects that that song has, and so there's so much to expand on, it's one thing. But I guess I sort of felt the album The Chosen by Enterprise Earth. Um, I felt sort of similarly like it was just such a long album and it didn't really vary that much. Like it was almost a prog length album where you would expect it to have like one extreme, two extreme, like multiple places that it goes to. And I don't get me wrong, my favorite Enterprise Earth song is on that album. I enjoy but I felt like it could have been almost like there were parts of it where I was just like if you had just eliminated like one whole song that would like cut this, it would have just been something I listened to more in full. But there was not ever a time where I was like, I'm gonna sit down and listen to The Chosen front to back again. Like other than when I checked it out, it was a lot and it didn't vary much. But if Sleep Token puts out that long of an album, you bet your ass I will sit down in front of and do the entire thing. Like it because I know they can I'm not saying Enterprise Earth couldn't. Maybe they could, but they didn't. Where Sleep Token, I already know that they could do that and that they may. So I would be more apt to like sit down but if you don't vary that much, it's just so much, and it can become kind of jarring on you to sit when you can't separate songs from each other anymore. That kind of
Lauren Shore. That's kind of how I feel about the Lauren Shore record. It's good, but it needed some variety. But like with Sleep Token, I'm nervous to check out the next couple singles because like my expectations are through the roof. I'm like, I gotta lower these expectations. Next song could be a slow, sappy song. Let's just deal with it, okay? It'll probably make sense of the album, but like let's just calm things down because like maybe it's a 3-minute crazy weird song. I have no idea, but like I'm kind of nervous. And speaking of The Chosen, I really like the record. But I feel like 2022. It wasn't personally, I didn't think it was like an amazing year for records. I thought it was a better year for singles. I don't think there was like, I don't know. I felt like, the years before Giarta was like insane to me because that like changed the guitar world. Look at Thall everywhere now. And then the one before that was Loathe. Loathe brought shoegaze. Like there was no, and then you can argue Northlane Alien was a big one too and made people bring back electronics and stuff. So there was always like these crazy genre defining albums, but I feel like we didn't really get that last year. I think Bad Omens is that album, but I can't say it's like a really good album. I think half the songs are fucking bangers and the other half are just pretty good. But that's how I kind of feel. I feel like 2022 was just like, it was a good year. It was fine, but I think 2023 is going to be insane for music. I think this year is going to be nuts. Absolute nutty. Music.
I think you're right. I had a really strong list of albums, but I think the same, like there was not one. My favorite was Fit for an Autopsy, but Fit for an Autopsy did what Fit for an Autopsy does, and they did it amazingly. So like they've been doing what they're doing and they just keep getting better at it, but it wasn't like I wasn't shocked by it or anything. Counterparts somewhat the same, like and that was still towards like my number, I think it was my number 6 or something. Maybe Vatican for me, actually.
Oh.
Vatican was like that record. I think some bands will really take to, especially if they start, I think they'll gain more traction with the record this year than they did last year if they do the right tour moves. And I think that the variety that Vatican had on that record, like some of those choruses are just out of this world.
Really?
Where Heavens Collide, Reverence, those songs are just, they can get so heavy. Some of the breakdowns on that album are just so beat downy almost, and then they get so sparkly and light in other places. And I really respect that, and I think that some bands will kind of see that Vatican's heavy as shit. They go on these heavy lineups, put on a crazy show, and they're still not afraid to kind of like throw in a beautiful ass chorus if they want to, and then transition from that same sparkly chorus into just something like super mean, you know. And I think that I think Vatican did something really special, and they weren't on my radar at all. But that would be the band, and they worked up my list more and more too. But I guess it would be the closest thing that I could think of like that.
Can I just say the way that you describe music is kind of similar to me, because like you've said it. These are your words, but it's like word vomit. And I have a tendency to do that. When I talk about music, I just spew a bunch of stuff. And so when I started doing the pros and cons, people probably thinking like I need to revamp my channel and do something cool, which is partly true. But a big reason was just to summarize what the hell I'm saying. Because without them, it's just like I'm just saying so much stuff. I'm like, okay, I need to have it more concise. So that's why I actually added the pros and cons to my videos. I'm like, to clarify what I like and dislike about a song, just to make things a little bit structured. Because otherwise, like I said, I think I have ADD too. So I'm just like, I talk. And like, I noticed with my reviews, I'm like, they can get pretty long. Sometimes they're longer than the reaction. So now I'm actually trying to just make kind of bullet points, because something that I really need to understand is that people don't really listen to what you say. They listen to how you say it. So it's not really the exact words. It's something that like I'm trying to consider more and more, but like it's really what you evoke. And I think that's why reactions are so good. It doesn't matter like, oh, like the guitar riff had a cool like arpeggio run here in a diminished scale or something. Sure, it sounds cool, but I think there's something more special about you actually listening to the song and just going like, oh bitch, or something. Like that speaks more volumes. Like that. Okay, like there's like an actual genuine feeling you got from that music. But like, yeah, so when I'm doing my reviews, I'm trying to be a little bit more concise. My intros are a little bit shorter. And I'm doing it only because like I just want to change up my videos this year. So I'm really trying to change up my style a little bit. So I actually told people in my Discord, like I've made 8 slight changes to my videos. And I'm wondering how many people have noticed. Yeah, like these little things that I know for sure. Some people are noticing them. Some people notice I took away the purple border around all my thumbnails. I stopped doing that. That was one thing. I'm like, that's a kind of a brand refresh. But another thing was just like, I'm taking away the what's up. Like, I'm stopped doing that. I'm just going straight into the song, because even though people are going to be like, oh, I miss it. Like the channel's got to change. The intros, a lot of people just skip to the reaction part. I know it. So I'm going to make my intros a little bit more concise. I've also stopped saying, let's fucking do it. Yeah, I know.
Those are big changes.
I know. I'm like, this is a new me. I gotta.
Was it hard to decide?
It's hard. I'm like, what can I say? How can I replace let's fucking do it? I'm like, don't even replace it. Just let it go. But I still say that's enough chit chat. I'm like, enough chit chat. I feel like people say, you know, a big reason why I stopped saying let's fucking do it is that people don't really say it back to me, is what I noticed. Like, only the odd time people might go, oh, let's fucking do it. For majority of the time I see like, let's go, let's get it. I'm like, what about let's fucking do it? I'm like, it would be cool to have like a slogan people say back to me, but I didn't really feel like it was getting that much of a connection. I'm like, I gotta drop this. It also doesn't feel like me anymore. It feels like the old me that was trying too hard. So like I need to, yeah. So like I'm doing little things to just like be more who I am in my videos, and but also like, so I got rid of the let's fucking do it and stuff. And my reviews, I'm going to try to make it a little bit more clear and concise. But yeah. Anyway, enough about me. I want to know, I've been wanting to ask you this question. So obviously we're both on like the same trajectory right now with just like feeling good, want to be making changes. This is our year kind of thing. So like, where do you see your channel in the future? Do you plan on doing like moving on to other platforms? Because obviously you see people, including me, talk about TikTok and things like that. Would you ever make that move? What do you see in the future?
I don't see TikTok in my future. And I respect it too. I know people love it. Bands are on it. people love TikTok. And for me, I just it's such a busy world already. And what you were saying about the attention spans and stuff kind of scares me. And I feel like it's so easy to dump time into places that it doesn't necessarily need. And I don't mean that like you building your TikTok is different. I mean me watching TikToks or something like that. And I think I want to focus more on the platforms I have already this year for now, since last year didn't really go according to plan. Like doing live streams. I want to pick back up on the interviews that I was doing and kind of learn, like be talking to more people who do production stuff, because I'm super interested in it. And like I've had a few lined up. It's since the beginning of last year, end of 2021, like super far. I had people that I was like, hey, are you interested in coming on the channel? I did one with Bill Murray, and it went really well. And it, you know, it was in 2020 when he did Eggy Pocket, and I
the
loved
artist
it. It was
Bill
so
Murray.
fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Thought the actor for a second. Like what? Never mind.
No, yeah, Johnny Frank from Bill Murray.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun, and I loved doing it. But then like I set these other ones up, and I just kept doing the thing where I was focusing on so much other stuff that it would get put on the back burner. So this year I think, rather than like, other than Patreon, that was really the platform that I kind of decided to add. Because I really like some of the stuff, like making people playlists and stuff. I would rather do that, I think, than to be on TikTok. But I feel like that's what's nice about this community, is that like for some people it will be the opposite. You know, they'll want to focus on TikTok. That's what they'll want to do. And it seems like a great platform for content creators, which is wonderful. And people are finding great success on it. I don't feel very connected to the TikTok type of content because I'm such a wordy person, and I'm not good at like condensing down to stuff like that. And I think it would put a lot of pressure on me. Like I put a lot of pressure on myself anyway. Yeah, the TikTok thing is something that like I feel like I sound like a super just old person whenever I talk about.
I just want to say, I think I forgot to say this earlier when we were talking about Patreon and what you're doing on Patreon. It's just like, it's unique. It's not like anybody else. I can't think of anybody else that's making like playlists and stuff for people as like a perk. And I think that's actually so cool, because you, like we were talking about, when someone who's in our scene does something, it has a tendency to be copied. And we all borrow ideas from each other for sure. But like the fact that your style is so just about music discussion, finding new bands, and literally building a community about metalheads, that's like you to a T. And how you're going to monetize that is the next step, right? Because obviously, like to get financially compensated for this just creates more longevity. It's hard to do, because like you know, when I first started Patreon, I'm like, I don't want to take money from these people. I feel like it's weird. I don't know. They're hard-earned money, but then like if you provide value, if you actually provide value for them and stuff that they want to see, and like they'll support you. And then it got to a point where like, wow, this can be a full-time gig. And now they really support me. And now it's to a point where they want me to succeed too. And just like with you too. So like, do what you think is right. So like TikTok, yeah, that's not for you. Totally get it. I can't even picture you on TikTok. Personally, I'm just kind of asking the question. I can't picture it, but like, it's a weird world.
I'm glad you said that.
No, I can't. But like, the thing is, like, for me, I feel like, oh, my views are going down on YouTube a little bit. Maybe I should start focusing on other platforms. So I did. And then, but one thing that was cool about going on TikTok, right, was I changed my editing style, because like I know the attention span is a lot shorter. So I'm doing quick edits, right? I'm showing the music video, then I'm showing me, and I'm doing quick zoom ins. Like I'm doing a lot of editing stuff, and people loved it. So that's how I was doing really well on TikTok. But I took those ideas, now I'm bringing it to my YouTube. So if I wasn't on TikTok, I don't think I would have ever gotten that editing style that I wanted to convey to my new YouTube video. So that was like one of the cool things about TikTok, is that it got me a cool new frame of mind to bring over to YouTube and just change up my formula a little bit. But yeah, no, I can't picture you on TikTok, but the Patreon stuff, like if you need any help or questions or anything, just like DM us. We also have the Discord, which is cool too, but like feel free to DM me, pick my brain too. Yeah, the like what I do the simplest thing was just the album reactions. Like album reactions, they get blocked on YouTube anyway. But if you want to support the channel, then I think $5 a month is a fair price because of the amount of work that goes into these videos. I feel like that's fair. But now it's like I have 120 albums, I think. So what is that? 120 hours or more of like content on there just for $5. Like now it's just like, to me, I'm like, that's a bargain. And when people say like, oh, like, I don't know why you charge. I'm like, buddy, there's 1,200 free videos for you to enjoy on YouTube. Like if you want to support the channel, all it is $5 and you get 120 album reactions, and plus you get to participate on all these other things. It's only $5. Like people, I've seen other Patreon where they charge like $20 and stuff. I'm like, no, like just start low. But I think you're doing a good thing by something unique. But yeah, I guess the point of this is just feel free to pick my brain about anything that you want.
Thank you. Yeah, I probably will take you up on that, since I feel like yeah, what we talked about before with like your authenticity. Damn, words are hard.
We've been talking a long time. It's almost 2 hours.
I know. I was, on stream, even when I was fresh, I was still messing up words. So I won't pretend like I can never talk. But your authenticity is like a big thing that like makes me feel like, if I need advice with the channel or something, you would be one of the first people that I would, probably the first person, because I don't feel like I like a lot of other content creators. Like I love to watch Keem's videos.
Oh, he's
Keem and I
so
cannot
funny.
Be more different in our content style,
same.
and I know that. But I love watching his videos. I think they're hilarious. I just love who Keem is as a person, and that's someone also I don't worry about like watching his videos. I know I'm not gonna pick up on his stuff, but I just love to watch them.
Same.
He is hilarious. So I just feel like I wouldn't, we have such different styles that I don't think that, and Keem is just like, Keem is Keem and does another authentic person though. Keem is doing what Keem really wants to do, and I respect the hell out of that. But I think we fall more in line. Whereas like when I'm like, do I need to ask somebody about this? I'd probably be like, Burb, I have a question.
Yeah, go for it. But the thing about Keem too, I had him on the podcast, and like he was like, we couldn't be more different, but like we fucking clicked. And then even the comments were saying that like there's like a chemistry going on between you two and stuff. I'm like, yeah, there's like a genuine respect that we have for one another. Like I can never be him. You can't ever see me get out of my chair and punch a mannequin. That just seems so out of character for me. Like, no, but that's so Keem, right? Like
it is.
But yeah, I've seen other people like punch a mannequin. I'm just like, oh man, no, don't do that.
Meme style definitely gets copied a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a few videos like go around where it's very much like you are not hardcore Keem.
bitch. Yeah. Look, okay, we're clocking in at almost 2 hours here, an hour and 50 minutes. This is going to be the longest podcast, by the way. So there's that.
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, geez, I knew that we had a lot to talk about. So, oh geez, my mic. Let's talk about, I usually end these segments with just some simple questions. Maybe they're not so simple for you, but let's hear your top 3 favorite bands.
My number 1 band of all time is Animate. So. They have an album coming out later this year. It's going to undoubtedly blow my mind.
Prog metal is making a comeback, even though they're prog metalcore. But yeah, it's going to be the year of prog.
The Contortionist, number 2.
Yep.
And my third one is it changes so frequently, but I will say right now it's Fit for an Autopsy. Just all like Absolute Hope, Absolute Hell is when their current vocalist Joe started with them, and then all the way up to What the Future Holds. I just love all of that, and there are a lot of songs that have a lot of lyrical content that I attach to a lot. So those are my 3 that I think right now I would say, but there are a lot.
Yeah, the prog bands through and through. All 3 of them have proggy elements. Progcore, baby. Like, progcore.
That's where it's at.
Okay, actually, let's talk about your love for Invent Animate. We really did not dabble on that. Why? What is it about this band that you are just so in love with?
So it's I guess the best way to put it is when you look at their album covers, that is exactly what they sound like, and it is my style, that atmosphere, that sort of like ambiance in their music, that stuff that makes you feel behind the music. On top of, they have always had to me like those. I before I really even was aware of how much I liked riffs. Invent Animate was like that band where I was like, oh my, Forest Haven on the album Everchanger was a game-changing song for me. I still remember the first time I heard the guitar on that song and just being like, what am I feeling? What am I feeling? And immediately, like, they were just one of my favorite bands, and I just like everything that they've ever put out. I have always felt the way that I look on any Invent Animate video. I've always felt that way. Listening to like when Graveyou came out, people should be glad I did not have a YouTube channel. Like, I was psychotic. I was, because they almost disbanded is what it had seemed like to us, because they had a vocalist that was
Marcus.
yeah,
Or yeah.
Ben English was the original.
Yeah, Ben
vocalist.
English, my bad. Yeah.
Marcus is now. So when Ben was the vocalist and he left, it was like we were kind of like, so what happens? Like, what is happening? And for a minute, it looked like they might not figure it out. But then they opened up vocal like auditions and shit like that, and it became obvious that they were coming back. And like the amount of, I felt like there is no way to describe the feeling I felt once I learned that they were really coming back and stuff. I was like, I promise I'll never, like, I will buy every single piece of merch that you put out. I will be your biggest fan. If you break up, I'll die. Like, it was a big deal for me. So when Graveyou, they dropped Cloud Cascade as a single, it was like heart stopping, and I was the most annoying person on the internet. I just wasn't Rachelle Reacts, so nobody, there's no records of that. The receipts are not there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess like getting that, like, I just love them, and I've like, they do not have a single song that doesn't make me feel really deeply, if that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. I have that band. I feel like everyone has that band, right? And for me, it's Thrice. Thrice is a band that can do no wrong for me. Their vocals, they're not the most technical band, but they have those riffs that just fucking hit for me. They have these vocal lines that are just make me feel emotional or something too. Lyrics that I actually can relate to in certain ways. It's just like a very special band in that kind of way. But yeah.
Best Thrice album.
Oh, Visu. I remember someone requested one of their songs on stream, but it was a weird one. I think you would like Visu. It's not, I think you got to check it out. Please check out Visu.
I'm about to drive like an hour after this, so I'll probably just put it on in the car.
Oh man, that'd be awesome. Like, it's, mind you, it's like 2006 when the album came out, and it's not metalcore. It's not even,
all right.
It's not even any kind of core. It's just like, it's like a rock, experimental rock album, but I just love the sound of it.
All right. I'm familiar with them. I haven't, I think the only album I've listened to, let me see what the name of it is. So like I'm familiar with them, and I like Thrice enough, but I don't think I've given them the proper, but if they're one of your favorite bands, you know.
Oh, they are my top favorite band. The thing, okay, why I like them so much is that each album is different. So they started off as like almost a metalcore sounding band. They had fast riffs, double kicks and stuff, but like they were emo-y too, right? So they were like that.
Yeah.
And they were like, their music wasn't like very structured. It was point A to point B, which I liked. You know, Under Oath opened for them. My very first concert was Thrice and Under Oath and The Bled, if you remember The Bled. But like, so yeah, Under Oath opened, and then Thrice decided to do a 180. They were like blowing up, right? They were like peak at the scene for like, you know, think about bands that we have today where, I don't know, what's a really popular band today? Bad Omens or something. Thrice was like big. What?
This song, Artists in the Ambulance.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's where they peaked.
This on a CD. I had this on a CD burned in my car. As soon as I saw the title of the album, and I was like, surely this isn't. And I like started playing it, and I was like, oh my god.
Okay.
Yeah, this album I've heard a bunch of. This one, Artists in the Ambulance.
That's a sick record. It's got riffs, it's got screams, it's got breakdowns, right? That's their last heavy record. But then after that, they went into Visu, which is like experimental rock and Radioheady. It's slow and ambient. So a lot of people were just like, even me, as a teenager, I'm like, ooh, I don't like this. This is weird. But it took me like a year or two to fully grasp it. And now I think it's a 10 out of 10 record. I think it's like perfection. Mind you, the first 2 tracks on that record are a little bit weird. I think once you get to track 3, The Earth Will Shake, that track to me is fucking phenomenal. If you don't like The Earth Will Shake, ooh, we'll see. But yeah, then if it's a nice like night drive album. It's got some nice slow moments too. So.
And they have a song called like Moths to Flames on it. Or no, like Moths to Flame.
Yeah, and Architects did an amazing cover to the song of Destinations on that, number 9. Architects, there's so many, Architects is heavily influenced by Thrice. So the more you listen to it, the more you'll kind of like hear certain things. But yeah, very cool record. Anyway, keep talking about Thrice. Let's talk about, what was the second question? Part 2 was supposed to be, oh yeah, favorite movies. Top 3 favorite movies.
Okay, so I have not seen a lot of movies. I love Pulp Fiction. I've seen Pulp Fiction.
That's a good pick.
What is the name of that movie that I really like? Oh yeah, Juno will always be one of my favorite movies. I don't know why. I think it was a comfort movie for me when I was a teenager. Yeah. And so a lot of the stuff is really funny to me, but I haven't watched it in a lot of years. Like when I tell you I don't watch a lot of movies, I've watched 1 full movie in the last. That's a lie. I went to the theaters to see the Bob's Burgers movie.
Okay, so you like that movie, Bob's Burgers?
It was. I love the show. It's my favorite, like one of my favorite shows. But the movie had a bit much of like singing in it for me. I still enjoyed it a lot. But with it being a little bit like music, I'm not really like as much as I love music, I'm not a musical person. So when it got a little, yeah, right, it got a little sing-songy for me, but still a good movie. But I wouldn't name it favorite. I think I need to like further look into that. But yeah, I'm that person where people are like, "Are you serious? You haven't seen blah blah blah?" And I'm like, "Yep, nope." I can tell you that I'm gonna watch it too, but I probably won't.
Okay.
Like, I don't know.
So, okay, if you're not a big movie person, but you're talking about TV shows, can you name 3 favorite TV shows?
Yeah, Letterkenny.
Oh, Letterkenny? What?
You're Canadian, aren't you?
Oh yeah, you can't tell. Apparently, I go a boot. I don't hear it, but I say a boot, and I do say a lot. I can't help the a.
Yeah, I think you do sound quite Canadian, but yeah,
really?
Letterkenny is my favorite show ever. And that's recent. I just watched it for the first time last year, and I've watched it like 10 times now. I'm in the middle of the new season. I'll finish it later, or we'll watch an episode later tonight or something like that. But Letterkenny is my absolute favorite show. I'm obsessed with it. I think it's my comfort show, and I love it. The characters are all super endearing, and they all are very strong characters. Like each of them they're very detailed characters. Like, you pick up on characterisms for them. I guess that's what makes a show I really like. I like a lot of comedy and like stuff that's I like a lot of dark and heavy music and stuff. So I feel like when it comes to shows, other than like, I loved Game of Thrones like everyone else.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I loved Game of Thrones. I watched all of that. But otherwise, I tend to keep it pretty like funny. Bob's Burgers is a favorite show of mine. I loved Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec is good, yeah. I never even finished it. I got up to like the 2 last episodes. I just took a break and never finished it. I know,
the
weird.
The ending wasn't the best.
Like, oh, really?
Yeah, it was really. I thought like I started losing interest around that same time. Like
yeah.
I wasn't as keen on like binging the end of it as I like the middle of it was the bulk for me.
Same.
Yeah, I felt like there was a different show that I really liked.
I love The Office, if talking about that kind of show, but
I've watched all of The Office multiple times. That one's a lot of people don't like The Office.
I know. To me, like, that's weird. That's a hot take. I don't. That's very weird. Okay, it's funny that you say like listening to metal music and then needing like comedy. I feel like lately, I used to like. I don't know. I used to love like horror movies and stuff and just like dramas but lately, the older I get, and you know, YouTube is like a lot of work, which I don't mind. I love the work most of the time, right? But like it's like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. I'm like, okay, I'm done for the day. Time to relax. I'm like, I don't want to put on a heavy, dark drama or something. I need something stupid. And honestly, you're talking about cartoons. Lately, my guilty pleasure has been reality TV.
Ooh, like what?
What was it?
Please say Love Island.
Love Island? No.
It's
I know
so
Too Hot to
bad,
Handle.
but it's so good.
Too Hot to Handle. I watched like the first 2 seasons. What was it? Are You the One? Are You the One on MTV? So trashy. It was so garbage, but I couldn't stop watching these people just be douchebags to one another.
The audacity they have is amazing. Yeah, no, I feel this. My best friend and I, we really like to watch reality TV shows together. Like we watched all of Love Island together because it's just so, some of the stuff that happens is so, whether it's real or not, I don't care, because the idea that it is just so crazy. Are You the One is one of those where it's like, they're gonna do what?
Yeah.
They're gonna do that right now on this kid.
They just get drunk right away and they're all hooking up with one another. It's crazy. Okay, one that I think is amazing is like, I can't wait for the next season, is F-Boy Island. And why I think it's good is because it's an HBO take at like the reality TV love shows. So they get like a group of like 20 guys and it's 3 girls, but they have to figure out like half the guys are nice guys and the other half are fuck boys. So they have to they have to figure out which ones like are like the nice guys and which ones are the F boys. But the thing is, like, the show's so meta. It is so funny and so stupid. I don't know. I that's like one of my most anticipated shows. I can't believe I'm saying that publicly.
I'm gonna have you heard it here first. METALBIRB's most anticipated show,
F-Boy
2023.
Island, baby. Yeah.
F-Boy Island. I'm gonna have to check it out though, because I really like, I'm not sure. I'm not like a reality TV show fiend or anything like that, but I find it so amusing. Like, I really do.
It's stupid TV, but that's the point. You just kind of shut off your brain after a long day at work. Like, don't get me wrong. I love Breaking Bad. I love Game of Thrones. I love like some documentaries on like crime shows and stuff. But like after some time, like I just want to watch some trashy people be trashy.
Man, I haven't been doing that. Like I mentioned earlier, I might have to do that now, but like I mentioned earlier, I have been like watching these YouTube videos, and they're all just like these history video essays, and like I found this one channel where this guy goes into a bunch of different communities, like gets invited there, meets with somebody who lives there, and like they get mic'd up and stuff, and he goes in like Native American reservations, or he goes to different countries, he goes to different places in the US, and then kind of gets the perspective on their communities, and how things are there, their histories there. He lets them show whatever they want to show about the community, just to kind of like show how it really is versus like stereotypes. And it's really informative and respectfully done and stuff, and it's so nerdy, but yeah, that's what I've been spending out.
Who cares if it's nerdy? I think that's really cool. It's funny that you were thinking like trying to do a second channel, possibly like talking about history, like if you had the time or whatever. But like, you know what, I forgot to say it, but there's a channel that I like called Mr. Ballin. I discovered him, but all he does is he recites like horror stories. Actually, I'm going to say one. I'm going to try to do it the way that he does it. So it's just him in front of a green screen, and all he does is just like, okay, so, you know, there's this man that's sitting in his living room on a couch, and he's looking at this lamp, and this lamp is just like, it's a little bit blurry, but everything else in the room is not blurry. And he's just like, okay, that's weird. But he gets fixated on it. He just keeps looking at it. And then, you know, his wife asks him, like, do you want dinner? And he's like, no, I'm good. I just want so he keeps staring at this lamp. And then eventually after dinner, it's like, okay, we're going to bed. And like putting the son to sleep is like, okay, you guys go to sleep. It's okay. I'm just going to keep looking at this lamp. He's like, why is this blurry? But it keeps getting blurrier. Eventually, like the morning comes and he's still sitting there, and they're like, well, you have to go to work. He's like, no, just call in sick for me. Like, I'm not going to work. Like, and then the lamp just gets bigger and more blurry, and like he can't understand why. And then like his wife and everyone is like very confused. Like, why won't he leave? He just won't leave. He's like literally sitting and just looking at this lamp just get blurrier and bigger. And then all of a sudden, like someone just tells him like, hey, are you good? And he's like, oh yeah, I'm good. What's going on? He's like, what happens to the lamp? And he's like, oh no, you've been in a coma for the past week. He's like, what? He's like, where's my wife? He's like, you don't have a wife. He's like, what? Apparently this guy visioned that he had a wife and a family and a beautiful home, but he was actually a college football player that got a concussion. but he literally believes that he had a wife, and it needs like years of like therapy to just make him realize that he never actually had that in his life. So I thought that was just like this is true.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Exactly. So what this guy does, the point why I'm saying this is like this guy just conveys these stories. He talks about them and then he just puts images up and he has a green screen. So maybe that's what you could do with a History Channel. Just recite the thing, right? And just have graphics and do it in a cool way where you talk about like the ending or something. Instead, the story wouldn't have been as exciting if you said like, so there was one time where the college football player, you know, he got a concussion and then he envisioned that he saw a lamp in a family. It's how he started the story, right? He started the story at the end and it kind of like made the plot twist, right? So it was like a cool way of like explaining the situation, but like maybe with history or something, you could do something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's not a bad, because it's like the storytelling is so it's so important in anything. Even when you like are in a group of people, there are certain people that are like, you tell the story, you know, like because you have to. There's a certain voice, and it's like that with anything, especially on like YouTube and stuff. It's like if you talk like a weirdo, you probably should have a YouTube channel because people like that.
Yeah, that's why like I don't know. There's a certain kind of like weird people that do really well on YouTube, and I think it's just because they're themselves like that. I feel like that's kind of the theme of that we're talking about, but being your natural self, people will just gravitate towards that. And yeah, look at Keem, for example. He'll fucking take his shirt off and just start punching a mannequin, and the whole idea of that, you cannot picture me ever doing that. Just God,
no. Me neither.
But yeah.
Good Lord.
Okay.
That would be something. METALBIRB goes Keem when. You should do it on April Fools. Just get you a mannequin.
Yeah.
And then Keem does a super chill video, like he does a Burb style video. And people are like, what the hell is happening? Reacting to the same song.
That's not a bad idea. I love that idea actually. Have you seen my April Fools videos? I
feel like I saw. What did you do last year?
So last year I think I did 2. So it was revealing my real name.
Oh yeah, and then you didn't.
Yeah, but it was like
I watched that one.
METALBIRB, but it was just separated. So I did that. But then on that same day, I released my top 5 favorite songs of the month, which I always do. But since it landed on April 1st, I'm like, okay, number 2 was Silent Planet, blah, 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 blah. And like number 1, I'm like, this song just evokes so much emotion. It's so charismatic. It's so hooky. I absolutely just love Ice JJ Fish. And then there's like a clip of me reacting to this guy that's just going like, it's just the cringiest rap song ever. But anyway. Yeah, so April.
I didn't see that one. I saw the name one though, because I remember seeing it come up, and I was like, "Oh shit, what? He's gonna tell these people his name?"
Do you know?
And then I was like,
"You said you know my real name. Do you actually know it?"
So you told it to me when we did the video, and that was when I was still drinking. I don't drink anymore, really, like that, and so I don't remember.
Wait, you were drinking on that last time we really?
Yeah. Well, so it wasn't that I was drinking during that, but I was drinking so much of that time that a lot of like that is so spotty for me.
Oh.
That like, pieces of, yeah.
That's interesting.
Lockdown and stuff like that. But you told me, over, I think it was when we were FaceTiming. Remember how we did like, the reactions on our own, and then we had a FaceTime call where we like talked about it. And you told me then. And I feel like I have a few different things that I think it is, that I remember it being, but yeah.
I'll tell you after this podcast then. But yeah, I know I usually kind of keep it pretty hidden. There's sometimes like people come up to me at shows and like if they're really nice, and they're being like good homies and respectful, I'll just be like, oh, you can call me by my real name and stuff. But most of the time, they're always shocked. And also when bands, like when they get me on like guest lists for shows and stuff, like, okay, we need your real name, they're always so shocked, like, that's your name? Like, I thought you were like a John or something. I'm like, a John? Like, what the hell? But yeah, my name's not John. It's METALBIRB. Okay, let's finish off the segment with the last question, which is top 3 favorite foods.
Wow, that is a tough one. Is it okay? So my first one would have to be some sort of Italian food. Um, it used to be chicken Alfredo, but I've sort of grown out of that a bit, and I really like a spinach ravioli with some like vodka sauce or something like that.
Oh, fancy.
I've been making a lot of that lately, so I probably put that up there for but Italian food is like my favorite type of food.
What's your background?
Um, uh, I
You don't know?
I always forget this because my grandma told the story so weirdly. Norwegian, Swedish, uh, German. My last name, which I do not tell people and stuff,
Yeah.
is German. Um, yeah, I have a lot of that in my background, but my family is super all over the place kind of, so I tried to do one of those family tree things to kind of further it back, but I really couldn't figure out a lot of it, so I don't fully know. I don't
Fair enough.
fully know.
Fair enough. You're
Yeah,
like
those are the things I've been told.
you're like an interesting like mutt, I guess.
Yeah,
We all
have
are.
yeah, I know I have like a lot of like 10% this, 10% this, 10% this. According to one of my grandmothers, that is.
Yeah.
So that's like where that came from. I don't have the receipts to prove that she knows my exact origins, but
I just found out that I got Irish in me. So like I always thought I was half Mexican, half Scottish. That's always been what I thought. Yeah.
so you thought you had two, and you knew. How recently did you find out that
Like
that
2
wasn't the
months ago.
case?
2 months ago, I was just telling my grandma, and she's just like, "Oh no, he's like half Scottish, half Irish." So I'm like, "Okay, that makes me like 25% Irish, 25% Scottish, and 50% Mexican, right?" I don't know. I think that's what it is because my mom's like full blown Mexican, so I think that's what trumps everything. Even though like I'm white as hell, people are so shocked to hear that I've got like Latin background. But yeah.
I feel like in some of your facial features you can see it, but like, yeah.
Keem was so shocked. We were talking about it on the podcast.
Really?
He's like, "Oh, you a POC? You a POC?" He was like, I'm like, "No, man." I'm like, "I'm white as hell, man. Look at me." But
I
yeah,
love Keem.
he's so funny. Okay. Cut you off there. Fettuccine
yeah.
Alfredo or vodka sauce ravioli.
Ravioli with vodka sauce, yeah. And then it would probably be French onion soup, which is such a weird spread of things. Have you had French onion soup before?
Like once in a blue moon, but it's so good. I had it in recently in Quebec. Like there's this place. Quebec is like my first time ever visiting Quebec City. It's like traveling back in time. The architecture and everything's like the 1800s. It's all brick roads. And then it was like kind of like raining that day, and so got into this little cute little shop, and they made like a homey French onion soup, and just the atmosphere and the cheese that was melting on it. It was like fresh cheese. So good. So good.
Man, that's definitely one of the best soups. Actually, I think that would be my third one, and then I would bump up my number 2 to be either like, I think it would be pho. I eat pho all the time.
Wow.
And that was like a newer yeah, I like soups a lot, ramen, pho, that I eat a lot of, a whole lot of. I really like, when we went to Chicago, we went down to Chinatown, and I just wanted to go to like every single restaurant there because they have a ton of, like, we did hot pot for the first time and stuff like that. But I really wanted to get, they had like a bunch of different like basically places that you could get different kinds of soups and stuff like that. So hopefully when I go back to Chicago next, I can get involved in that because I do love a soup.
That's interesting though, because I feel like the most people I talk to just say like, basic things. I have basic answers too. Like
what?
Well, like chicken wings, hamburgers, pizza, like you can't go wrong with those foods. Just greasy American food. Like it's all good. But like, you know what? I think I discovered it recently, but my all-time favorite food, I mentioned this before, but to you, like tacos al pastor. It is, so the meat that's like on a stick and it's like kind of like twirling a little bit, and so it's just pork, right? But it's like it's sautéed. They cut it up into a taco, and then they put like some parsley, or not parsley, the green stuff. I forget what it's called. Whatever. They put some like green stuff and then some onions and then also like grilled pineapple, right? the grilled pineapple.
Is it basil?
No, coriander. But whatever it is,
okay.
yeah, coriander. And then they put some like the sauces though in Mexico are just unlike anything else you can get. They are such sauce country, so like I can't even explain it. But it's like it's spicy, it's sweet, but like that taco, oh my god, it is to die for. I love it so much. But yeah. Anyway,
and what is it called? Taco
al pastor, which I think is just with pork. I think that's what it means. I don't even know. But yeah.
Huh. I'm gonna have to try that. I love a taco too. Yeah, there are a lot of really good foods out there.
Can you get that where you're at though? I feel like you have to go like more down south to get a proper taco.
So there's it really depends where you go. I found that there are a lot of really good food trucks out here that are like owned by families and stuff like that. Like they bring them home at night and park it in the driveway and stuff like that. And there's one road specifically like by my house that there are a ton of them on all the time. And I've tried a few of different ones. One wasn't very good. It was like pretty much what you could get here otherwise, which is not, you want to go, like when I went to Dallas, they had really good barbecue and I had a really good taco there. But here, the food trucks have the best tacos, at least in my opinion. No
way. All this talk about food always gets me hungry. But yeah, like I feel like where I'm at, we don't have as many like crazy food items that you guys have in the States. I feel like
no.
Well, it's good food here, but I feel like we don't have those food trucks outside and stuff. I don't know. In the winter, especially, everyone is just like hermits. We're all just like in our like homes for like all of winter, which lasts like 4 or 5 months. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Colorado do stuff all the time.
Oh yeah.
Not me.
No,
but
not
the
you.
regular ones.
Oh man. Okay, I'm looking at the time. It's almost 10:30 for me. Like I usually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So we can definitely talk forever, which I figured, but I think we should probably close out the podcast, even though I don't want to. But this was a great episode. I had so much fun talking to you, getting to know you a bit better, finding out that you have like a little bit of like an aggressive kind of like a side to your personality. I think is really funny. I'm excited for you this year. I think you're going to crush it this year.
I think you're gonna crush it. And thank you so much for having me. I had a blast on here. And I think the same. I think this is gonna be a good year. Maybe we could do another reaction, like maybe
above below again? Ooh.
Yeah, maybe. I think they should be on. I'll send you a message when I find out it's in the pipeline. We could try to do that if it works out, if the stars align properly.
Please do, and pick my brain about anything that you want to. But yeah, we're all here to support each other. That's another thing that I started this podcast too, was like, I don't want it to feel like we're all competing with one another, which can seem like it happens, right? So I'm like, I want to have a podcast where we just talk, right? So
nice.
Yeah, I had a really nice time talking to you. Do you have like anything that you want to plug before we close it out?
I'm assuming they're already subscribed to METALBIRB, so I'm not gonna plug METALBIRB. So no, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm going to plug your channel. So everyone, subscribe to Rachelle Reacts. Go follow her on Twitter. She's very active on Twitter. Go follow her Discord. Her Discord community is very nice. They're very welcoming too. She's on Instagram. She's like on a whole bunch of social media, just not TikTok, because TikTok's not her style. But she live streams. Go follow her live streams. Just go short. Like, obviously, you got the idea that she is very genuine and she loves music. So if you love music too and you think you're genuine, then give Rachelle Reacts a follow. But Rachel, thank you so much. I appreciate you for coming on. Have a good night and listen to that Thrice album while you're driving.
You got it. Thank you, Burb.
No problem. Bye.